today. Reporting live, Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
We will be going over snowmobile safety with the Utah Avalanche Center at 12:45, so stay with us right here on Midday. Avalanche danger is still a huge concern today. The Utah Avalanche Center says risk is high in almost every region. Moab is the odd one out with a considerable risk. Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office is asking people to be extra cautious if they're planning any trips to the backcountry.
Dry section in January really set us up for, kind of some scary avalanches in the next few days.
Search and Rescue Commander Ryan Clerico tells KSL they need to be prepared with all the necessary survival equipment, including beacons, probes, and shovels. He also says they have a mindset that if conditions look dangerous, turn around and leave. You can always come back another day. The cold weather and the snow has promoted unsheltered Utah to start up their Code Blue nights again. Utah's Code Blue alerts are triggered when temperatures are forecasted to fall below 18 degrees overnight. Executive Director at Unsheltered Utah, Marinda Cutler, says they started this back in 2022.
But when we first started, we got around the zoning restrictions. This was before the law was passed. So that's where the movie night tradition comes from, because we couldn't necessarily open up a homeless shelter in those churches, but we could have a community event that went overnight showing movies.
Movie nights will be held at St. Mark's Cathedral and First United Methodist Church in Salt Lake City. This week's snowstorm pulled our snowpack out of record low territory, but we are still not even close to having normal snow totals, with time quickly winding down. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
Before the snow started falling a couple days ago, our snowpack, or more specifically the amount of water in that snow, was about 48% below normal for this time of year. But even after getting this huge storm, we're still about 35% below normal for this day, and we're still not even halfway to where we need to be for the entire winter. That puts us in a position where we need to more than double the water that's in our snowpack in just over a month to reach normal levels. KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson tells me doing that is not impossible, but highly unlikely.
In regards to spring and summer, we definitely need to start thinking about, okay, well, what's the play now that snowpack's probably not going to hit normal? It's a little late for that, and I really only think there's a 5 to 8% chance of that even happening.
Matt says unless we get more storms or at least a cool, rainy spring, we could end up seeing conditions prime for wildfires, not to mention the big hits our reservoirs will likely take. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
KSL's top national stories. President Trump is welcoming leaders from a handful of nations to Washington for the first meeting of the Board of Peace. It was established as part of the ceasefire deal in Gaza. Israel is a member, but there is no Palestinian representation. More from ABC News senior White House correspondent Selena Wang.
There are more than 24 countries, including many Middle Eastern powers. But what's really significant here is that none of America's major European allies have signed on. They are very concerned about this Board of Peace, and they're concerned that the president here is trying to supersede and sideline the United Nations. President Trump has long been critical of the UN, and when asked whether that is in fact his goal to supersede the UN, the president said, well, it might.
President Trump is the chairman of the Board of Peace. He says some nations are pledging a police force in Gaza to help out.
Albania, Kosovo, Kazakhstan have all committed troops and police to stabilize Gaza. Egypt and Jordan are likewise providing very, very substantial help, troops, training, and support for a very trustworthy Palestinian police force. We think we're getting some very good people on that police force.
Altogether, members have contributed more than $7 billion toward the relief package. First Look Traffic. Good afternoon, Michelle.
Good afternoon, Maria. Sorry, hit the wrong button. We're seeing good speeds out there right now. The earlier delays that were on Wasatch Boulevard for people waiting to go up Little Cottonwood Canyon, those have eased nicely. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
This is Jeff Stout with Fink and McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple. Let's talk conventional versus FHA loans. Both offer cash-out refinances up to 80% loan-to-value or LTV, so which is best for you? It's kind of like Uber and Lyft. I always compare the two before booking a ride. Conventional loans don't have mortgage insurance under 80% LTV. However, the rates and costs get higher with lower credit scores, cash out, and high LTVs. FHA loans always have mortgage insurance, but the rates are lower, they don't penalize you for cash out and high LTV loans, and they allow for higher debt-to-income ratios. FHA often results in lower payment even with mortgage insurance. We can analyze your situation within minutes. Call us today. Fink and McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple, 801-264-9494. That's 264-9494. Or on the web at finkmcgregor.com. NMLS 289115.
Hi, this is Doug Wright. I've recently seen two just delightful plays at Hale Center Theater. One is called Peter Pan Goes Wrong. When a local drama company stages Peter Pan, the stalwart thespians and crew face about any disaster or mishap that you can imagine, and their distress and their consternation fuels our delight and laughter. This is so much fun, and I challenge you not to laugh. And plus, my favorite radio station even gets a nod in this ill-fated production. And then, on the brand new Beehive stage, two local playwrights, Fox and Dietline, have a brand new musical, Hallmarked. It includes tidbits of every Hallmark movie plot you have ever seen. A young woman heads to Vermont to save a floundering reality cooking show, but she's determined not to be Hallmarked. You're going to love the play. You're going to love the music. Get your tickets at hct.org. Don't forget, Hunchback of Notre Dame coming up on March 9th.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. A man is dead after getting caught in an avalanche. He and his son were snowmobiling in Wasatch County. KSL News Time 12:07. BYU Idaho student enrollment numbers continue to rise. The university's winter 2026 semester enrollment is up 5% from last year, with more than 23,000 students in total. BYU Idaho social media manager Perry Rockwood says the growth is likely from marketing, more outreach to high schools, to additional scholarships, and he says most importantly, the school's mission to build disciples of Jesus Christ.
To make discipleship our number one priority, that is what is increasingly becoming more and more appetizing to young people who are in a very confusing world.
This is the highest number of students enrolled in winter semester since before the COVID-19 pandemic. Utah State University has had their full funding back from the state after a recent audit looked into the spending of the past president and the university as a whole. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
Utah's Executive Appropriations Committee agreed to return full funding last night after approving their school's reinvestment plan and reviewing a spending audit. In response to the audit, the university agreed to follow all recommendations, including having the Board of Trustees approve the president's funding.
I don't have to worry if there's scrutinies or anything. I can just be very transparent and follow those policies, and that will allow me to do the things that a president should do in terms of advocating for the university and making sure that we're serving our students.
President Brad Mortensen says they also made several changes to their reinvestment plan, including increasing allocations for AI and reducing investment into nursing. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
A Utah State University student is trying to break a mathematical world record. KSL News Radio's Alexandria Bonilla has more.
31 hours, 42 minutes, and 54 seconds. That's the record Emmanuel Onyegu had to break in order to hold the world record for the longest math class ever. The Nigerian native moved to Utah to complete his PhD in mathematics and tells the Salt Lake Tribune holding a world record is just something he's always wanted to do. And he almost did. He taught a class for 40 hours and 17 minutes, but the Guinness Book of World Records told him he went over the 10-minute allotted break time by 2 minutes, disqualifying his attempt. Instead, he submitted it for the most mathematic topics taught in one lesson, and that submission is still under review. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at uccu.com. And here's Michelle Rowe.
The major freeways are looking good right now, running at posted speeds or right around there. Now, if you're trying to make your way up Little Cottonwood Canyon, there has been a little bit of slowing because everyone's was waiting on Wasatch Boulevard to get up into the canyon. Also looking at some wet roads up in Summit County in the Park City area. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, we're calling for cold weather today. Look for a high of 36 degrees and mostly cloudy skies. 25 overnight snow showers. Then we got another round of snow showers possible on Friday, 36, 42 by Saturday afternoon, and mostly sunny skies. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Well, the sun is out for just a minute here in downtown Salt Lake City, but it is partly cloudy and 30 degrees. Coming up on Midday, we'll get an update on the stats of women in Utah politics with the director of the Utah Women in Leadership Project at Utah State University. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station. You know, it's really good to have choices when it comes to weight loss. And if you've been considering all of the plans, here are some other things to consider. I mean, the GLP-1 injections, they sound like a really great thing, but are you prepared to spend $3,000 to $5,000 per year and to stay on the medication long term to maintain the results? And many prescription weight loss injections require weekly shots. And when that medication is stopped, the weight regain is very common. I've been telling you for the last couple of years how I have lost more than 40 pounds with the help of Salt Lake City Fat Loss. You know, it takes a totally different approach. It's a doctor-developed program. It helps men and women lose 20 to 40 pounds in just 60 days, safely and naturally. No injections, no synthetic hormones. They just use real food to reset your metabolism and control your hunger and cravings naturally. And this program burns fat, not muscle. Right now, you can still take advantage of their resolution reset for the month of February. That means you can save $200 on this great program. Find out how at slcfatloss.com. That's slcfatloss.com. Keep the weight off for good. slcfatloss.com.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates. This weekend only, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep discounts. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis.
Control is everything to me.
Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
Getting help with plumbing repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
KSL News Time, 12:15. The 3 things you need to know this hour. First,
an avalanche in Wasatch County turns deadly, taking the life of a man who was snowmobiling with his son. I'm KSL News Radio's Don Brinker-Hoff.
Second, the latest snowstorm definitely helped Utah's struggling snowpack, but it only put a dent into a deficit that we likely won't have time to erase. Third, traffic and weather together, Michelle.
I-15 running smoothly, Maria, from Ogden to Provo. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Dry and cold today, but a slight chance for snow showers tomorrow. I'm Matt Johnson.
Partly cloudy, 30 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Despite diplomatic talks on a nuclear deal, tensions are mounting between the U.S. and Iran. The U.S. military moving more ships and resources to the region. And President Trump is said to be weighing possible military strikes against Iran. It comes as the president also is weighing other variables. Former security analyst and ABC News contributor Mick Mulroy says it appears the U.S. is also planning or digging in for a long-term possible mission.
It's not unprecedented, but it is certainly indicative not only that the U.S. is preparing to strike, but preparing to do so in a sustained manner. So not just 1, 2, 12 days like the last one, but potentially many weeks. And that is what it looks like we're getting ready to do. And also, if we have to respond to any kind of counterattack by Iran.
The president urging Iran to reach a deal on curbing its nuclear program at the White House event today and also at the inaugural meeting for the newly created Peace Board. President Trump touting nations who've pledged billions in relief for Gaza. ABC's Selena Wang has details.
President Trump announced that the member countries of this new Board of Peace are collectively going to be contributing more than $7 billion to the rebuilding of Gaza, but that's only a fraction of what's needed. The EU and UN estimate that $70 billion are needed for the reconstruction of Gaza.
Former Prince Andrew arrested earlier today in the UK. The brother of King Charles remains in police custody on suspicion of misconduct in public office. ABC's James Longman has more from Britain.
The arrest reportedly linked to emails released by the US Department of Justice as part of the Epstein files that show Andrew forwarding emails to Epstein while he was trade envoy. The emails, some dated in 2010, well after Epstein had already been convicted of soliciting sex from a minor, show Andrew forwarding British government files from his trips to places like Hong Kong and Vietnam. Andrew was trade envoy for a decade.
You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. The Utah Women and Leadership Project at Utah State University is looking at women in politics here in the state, and they've been tracking it since 2014. And the numbers for 2026 are now available. Dr. Susan Madsen gave an update on inside sources.
In this report, we really looked at 7 categories, and one of those was the women in our state legislature. And actually, this year we have 32.7% of legislative seats are held by women, and national is 33.6%. So we're still under, but we've made some gains in terms of where we rank. When you look at all the states, though, we're 31st, which has been some improvement, especially since about 2021. So we've never gotten, in 2001, we were 26th. That was our best one. And before, and Holly, you know about the history, but we were significantly, throughout time, we had some good representation. And in fact, we had more than the national average in 1971. So 71 is where we really are able to track that. So, in general, we are getting to the point we have more Republican women than we've had for a while as well, still Democratic women. So we're getting, we're 31st. So we're not the worst on this. We're the worst on other things, but we're not the worst. And so it's good to see some representation. I'll tell you, though, I've sure heard a lot of our female legislators who are not going to run again.
Dr. Madsen says it's important for women to be in politics, and studies show it has resulted in more representative legislation and innovative decisions. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Things are still running at posted speeds. I-15 moving smoothly, as well as the Belt Route. Also looking at good conditions. I've been going up and down the cameras in Parley's Canyon. A little bit of wet roads, but traffic is moving smoothly through that area, as well as Provo Canyon. Arrive in style for all of life's events, from the first suit to the first dance, preparing to serve or starting a life together. Every age, every milestone for nearly 60 years. Mr. Mack, helping you look your best for all of life's events. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. It's a cold one today. 36, mostly cloudy skies. Overnight tonight, scattered snow showers possible. Salt Lake City southward. We'll go to 36 tomorrow afternoon. Scattered snow showers still possible. 42, mostly sunny skies on Saturday. Sunday we'll go to 48, partly cloudy. Still warming. 53 on Monday, partly cloudy. Mostly cloudy, and 54 on Tuesday. But a chance for showers now on Wednesday, 54. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Don't you love it after it snows? It's all pretty and white, and then by this afternoon, there's going to be a lot of dark slush out there. But right now, just beautiful. The sun is out, 30 degrees, and the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. One thing that's not looking as bright today, the markets. The Dow is down by a couple hundred points. A complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Hey folks, it's Jay Broadbent here with Alpine Home Medical, celebrating 28 years of keeping Utah and Idaho comfortable and at home. Back in '97, I started with a truck, a dream, and a lot more hair. Today, we've got 11 stores from Idaho Falls to St. George. From the moment you step into our clean, welcoming showrooms, you'll feel the Alpine difference. Our team will be there to listen and guide you to the best solutions for your needs. We believe that the right equipment can transform lives. We're honored to be a part of your healthcare journey and to help you live the life you deserve. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Are your investments in the right accounts? What's best, traditional or Roth? Are you receiving all available tax deductions? Are you paying as little in tax as you can? These are all questions you can't afford to get wrong. Hi, I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth, and in many cases, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep that makes the real difference. Trajan Wealth and Trajan Tax work closely together exclusively. No more guessing about whether you should do a Roth conversion, or if maxing out your 401k is really the best option. Our nationally recognized fiduciary advisors and CPA team work in tandem to make sure your tax strategy works with your investment strategy. We'll even do your tax preparation. One team, one strategy. Isn't it time for a second opinion? Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
Hey, it's Flo here to say drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds.
Nice! With my new savings, I'll get some hiking gear. It'll be great for my outdoor era.
I don't know if it counts as an era if you just buy stuff.
I got a cute hiking backpack. It's an outdoor era.
Well, you only bought one thing. I don't think it's an era.
Well, I think we're in a agree to disagree era.
Yeah, sure, you're probably right. Anyway, with the money you could save by switching to Progressive, you can afford to switch to other things in life. It's
my savings era.
Also, everything you do is not an era.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
If you're talking, they will hear you.
We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how. And we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. Not just one time, but every chance we get. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids not only need to know the dangers and how to avoid them, they need to hear it often from you. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids and guide them through the challenges of growing up safe and healthy. Because when you talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
So talk, they hear you. You can do it if you try.
Watching Utah's money, University of Texas at Austin is banning Shein. Fox Business reports a school has blocked the website on its Wi-Fi. It follows Governor Greg Abbott's directive to prohibit around 50 Chinese-affiliated companies. Gas prices are lower than the national average here in Utah. AAA reports we are sitting at $2.79 a gallon, while the national average sits at $2.92. Walmart had a strong holiday quarter with sales increasing 6%. Shares of the company have gone up 22% over the past year. Taking a look at your money at this moment, and it's just not a pretty sight right now. The Dow is down by nearly 300 points, sitting at 49,367. S&P is down by 24 points, and the NASDAQ, it's down by 85 points. An NYPD harbor unit carrying out an unusual rescue.
Officers say they were surveying the ice on the Hudson River Tuesday when they saw it. A bald eagle trapped on a sheet of ice and bleeding from its wing. It's not the type of thing officers see every day, but they improvised. Officer Mike Russo.
We put a plan together. We used a catch noose to kind of subdue its wings from flapping and its claws.
The bird was brought on board and taken to a sanctuary in New Jersey for treatment, where it's said to be in very serious condition. Dave Packer, ABC News, New York.
It's not too late. If you got government health insurance again, especially here in Utah, this matters because a lot of families are paying more and getting less. Everyone focuses on the monthly premium, and yes, at My Policy Quote, I can help there. In fact, many of my Utah families are seeing 47% savings and even more on gold level plans. But the bigger issue shows up when you actually need care. The moment that university or blue insurance card hits the counter, prices jump, and with family deductibles now climbing to $20,000, all of that bill lands right back on you. My name is Mike. At My Policy Quote, I help individuals and families and businesses move into private insurance based on health, not income, so you're not overpaying for things you'll never use. That means lower costs, access to national PPO networks, and a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government. If you pay your own health insurance, you're on COBRA, uninsured, or your employer plan is just too much, even self-employed or small businesses, call me, Mike, today. 385-367-6779. Again, that's 385-367-6779. Or visit mypolicyquote.com. That's mypolicyquote.com to get started now.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. I grew up on tour with my parents. Kind of different, but we bonded over music just like other families do over sports, camping, or other interests. And we talked. Little everyday conversations from silly to serious that built a foundation over time. Honest conversations, like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic.
Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life. And I was so grateful that you and Mom had become these sober, stable people who were always there for me.
I wanted you to know, from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now, that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs, whether it's music or anything else. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
Talk, they hear you. For more information about talking with your kids about underage use of alcohol and other drugs, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
COVID-19, brought to you by CDC and the Ad Council.
At Social Security, we are always thinking of ways to save you time and make things easier. That's why we created My Social Security. A My Social Security account allows you to access your earnings history and benefits information, request a replacement Social Security card, get a proof of income letter, estimate and apply for benefits, and more. Save time. Go online. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security. Securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Michelle, what's happening on the roads?
Again, looking at really good conditions out there, Maria. I-15 running smoothly, as well as the Belt Route. If you're making your way up Parley's Canyon, that's in good shape. We are seeing a little bit of slowing on Pioneer Crossing around the intersections as you're making your way towards Saratoga Springs. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cold and mostly cloudy today. Look for a high of 36 degrees. Overnight, we'll go to 25 with a slight chance for snow showers, mainly Salt Lake City south. Tomorrow, snow showers possible, 36. We'll go to 42 and mostly sunny by your Saturday afternoon. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Sunny downtown, but pretty cold, 30 degrees. Ogden at 32. St. George at this hour, not too much warmer than us at 44 degrees. Park City, though, it's 15.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time 6:30. How about 12:30? Wow, I'm rushing the day. KSL's top story this hour, and it is breaking news on KSL News Radio. The Salt Lake County Republican Party has disciplined several of its own members following a heated internal dispute over election interference claims. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera begins our live team coverage. Eric?
Maria, in a late-night hearing that stretched into the early morning hours, the Salt Lake County GOP voted to punish 8 members, including Tracy Halverson, Monica Wilbur, and Natalie Klein, after they publicly accused party leaders of committing criminal election interference. The dispute centers around endorsements the party considered during last year's municipal elections in cities like Sandy, Riverton, and Harriman, races that are technically nonpartisan. Those members argued the endorsements were illegal and filed complaints with city attorneys. Party leaders say they confirmed the endorsements were allowed under Utah law and say the discipline wasn't simply over disagreement, but over repeated public accusations and disruptive conduct they believe harmed the party. Several members have now been removed from party positions and barred from GOP events through 2030. Live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
We are getting a reaction from the removed party members who say they are filing a lawsuit in response to their removal. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott continues our live team coverage. Cameron?
Maria, former executive committee member Kay Sanderson, says she doesn't believe their removal was the result of a fair deliberation.
The executive committee was allowed to be not only our accusers, but they were allowed to be our jury, and they were allowed to be the judge. So there were no unbiased parties.
According to an email provided to KSL, Party Chair Mike Carey told committee members if they believe there was any criminal misconduct, they should file a legal complaint. Party members Sanderson and Halverson say they were removed for doing exactly that. Reporting live, Cameron Elliott, KSL News Radio.
A Utah Highway Patrol trooper was involved in a crash this morning on I-215 near 6200 South. Lieutenant Cameron Roden says it started while they were responding to another crash.
As they were there investigating that crash, it sounds like another collision occurred involving one of our troopers that was there investigating this crash. We are only getting very preliminary details right now, not sure exactly everything that's gone on. It sounds like our trooper did sustain some moderate injuries.
Roden says the trooper was outside of his car at the time. Unified Police are investigating the accident now. The Harrisville Police Department is now accredited, something most larger departments work for years to get.
I think it's a big deal for us because it can help with the trust between us and the community.
Chief Mark Wilson says this accreditation shows that they are following all the policies for police work and comes through the Utah Chief of Police Association. It's not required to be accredited, but last year the department has decided that they wanted to go for it. Chief Wilson says he hopes this shows the community that they are doing the best work possible for them. KSL's top national stories. Former Prince Andrew is now in police custody. He was arrested in the UK on charges of misconduct while in public office. King Charles has issued a statement saying that the legal process should play out and that the royals will continue with public engagements. ABC News Royals contributor Victoria Murphy says it's notable that the king issued a statement, but the optics of carrying on may backfire.
You know, it's interesting that the king said at the end of his statement that they're going to be carrying on to fulfill their duties, and we've seen him out and about very recently today, you know, really doing what he said they would do and carrying on. But it's impossible for them at this stage to shift the narrative around Prince Andrew, to shift the focus from being on Prince Andrew. And it's very difficult to see how they're going to be able to do that anytime in the future because we now have an active investigation.
Andrew has now been released from custody. He was linked to convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein multiple times. Here is ABC's chief international correspondent James Longman at Buckingham Palace with reaction.
We have actually had a statement from Virginia Giuffre's family. You'll remember she was one of Andrew's accusers. We should say this arrest is not believed to be connected to that, but they do say at last, today our broken hearts have been lifted at the news that no one is above the law, not even royalty. On behalf of our sister Virginia Roberts Giuffre, we extend our gratitude to the UK's Metropolitan Police for their investigation and arrest of Andrew Mountbatten Windsor. He was never a prince. For survivors everywhere, Virginia did this for you.
If convicted, he could face life in prison. Other national stories KSL is following. FBI officials are reaching out to authorities in Mexico following new leads on missing Nancy Guthrie. More from ABC's Aaron Katersky.
Law enforcement sources tell ABC News investigators are exploring the possibility Nancy Guthrie was taken across the border into Mexico, just 60 miles from her home. There is no definitive evidence, but the sources say the FBI alerted Mexican authorities just in case. Mothers of the disappeared who look for missing people in Mexico are putting up posters of Nancy and asking people in Sonora, the Mexican state that borders Arizona, to share information.
A series of tips and leads have led nowhere. Investigators still have not arrested anyone. First Look Traffic, let's check in again with Michelle Rowe.
Things are running smoothly right now, Maria. I-15 from Ogden to Provo, still in good shape. KSL travel time of about 16 minutes from Draper to downtown. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:35.
The Management Minute is a service of the MBA program and the Shingo Institute at Utah State University. I'm Professor Scott Hammond. The world is flat and getting flatter. Not the planet, organizations on the planet. Almost every military strategist who's not beholden to a dictator will tell you that the reason Ukraine has been able to hold off the much bigger Russian army is because Russia has too many generals. Ukraine pushed decision-making and innovation down, allowing field commanders to make decisions close to the combat. Recently, Amazon announced that they will be cutting thousands of jobs, mostly due to cost-cutting AI innovations, part of a corporate strategy to become much flatter, to eliminate layers. Even government is making a forced march to becoming leaner, focused on purpose and adding more value. For all of us, it means that we constantly have to ask how we are adding value to an enterprise. Learn more about continuous improvement in an MBA from Utah State University. Go to utahstatemba.com. That's utahstatemba.com. I'm Scott Hammond. Hope to see you in one of our classes.
Many people worry they're not making the right investment choices inside their 401ks. Did you know that you might have a little-known opportunity to add some additional investment choices to your 401k and get the help and recommendations you've been looking for? This exciting feature is called a self-directed brokerage window. And the best part? The money still stays within your 401k. Learn how the trusted advisors at Capital Wealth may be able to expand your investment portfolio. To learn more, call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Improving your 401k might mean the difference of retiring a few years earlier. Let's find out. Schedule your no-cost 15-minute consultation with the Capital Wealth team today. Call or text the word VISIT to 801-877-9800 or go to CapitalWealth401k.com. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. The Salt Lake County Republican Party has disciplined several of its own members over election interference claims. KSL News Time, 12:37. Powder Mountain is reporting an avalanche. The resort says it happened this morning around Paradise Ridge. Patrols were able to initiate an immediate search and cleared the scene, reporting no burials. Patrols will continue to evaluate the area and make sure that it's safe. The Utah House has passed a bill that would expand the state's credit for businesses that offer child care. Representative Jason Thompson is sponsoring the proposal.
This is not just an issue for low-income families. Many middle-class families now spend 20% or more of their income on childcare. Childcare providers are also struggling and under enormous pressure.
While the majority of the House voted in favor, more than 20 lawmakers voted against the bill, voicing concern with the projected loss of millions of tax dollars every year. And some said that they'd rather offer different tax breaks instead. A Senate committee will vote on the bill next. The bill that would have lowered the driving age to 14 years and 6 months has been changed, so 15-year-olds in Utah will not be hitting the roads alone. Instead, the bill has changed and would allow parents to teach their kids driver's ed. It is being held in a House committee right now. Some lawmakers are also looking to keep kids safe. We've seen several instances of children getting hurt while riding mini motorcycles. A new bill proposed would require them to follow all the same laws as full-size motorcycles. University of Utah says they're going to take a scholarly deep dive into the real housewives of Salt Lake City. KSL News Radio's Reagan Edelman explains.
I've never confided in you, Lisa, because I never fully trusted you.
The Tanner Humanities Center made the announcement last night, a symposium about the housewives and how they help us understand contemporary American culture.
Humanities are things that bring us together in community.
culture, art, the humanities are ways that we think about our lives. That's not always in the most serious way. It's not always in the most accurate or realistic way, but we create community around our shared watching of them.
That's the center's director, Scott Black. He says that it's the Humanities Center's job to entertain all parts of culture, not just the ones you might think of first. The symposium is an all-day event in April, and you can get the details at the Tanner Humanities website. Reagan Edelman, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCC. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. And here's Michelle Rowe.
Well, we had crashes earlier, but we're seeing really good speeds for drivers for the most part now. Most of those have cleared up nicely. A little bit of congestion at Big Cottonwood Canyon right now. Earlier it was Little Cottonwood Canyon, but people are getting up the canyon pretty easily with whichever canyon you're going into, as well as Parley is seeing good speeds there. A little bit of slowing on Pioneer Crossing in the typical areas around the intersections. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mostly cloudy skies in northern Utah with a high of 36, but a storm system this afternoon moves into southern Utah. That'll put a couple of snow showers down Salt Lake City south tonight. By tomorrow, scattered showers, 36. We'll go to 42, mostly sunny on Saturday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's sunny in Salt Lake City, and right now, 32 degrees. Coming up on Midday, we will talk to the Utah Avalanche Center about snowmobile safety after a man died while out with his son. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The company you work for just froze your pension. Now what? Should you take the lump sum or monthly payments? What happens to your spouse if something happens to you? And how does this impact your Social Security benefits? If you're like most people, you have more questions than answers. But here's the bigger problem right now. If you make a wrong decision here, it could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in retirement. That's why you need to know all of your options so you can make the right decision for you and your family. Boss Retirement Solutions, right here in Utah, offers a free, comprehensive pension review for individuals with $300,000 or more in retirement savings. Call 801-896-9622 for your free analysis now. That's 801-896-9622. 801-896-9622.
Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
Every day here in Utah, people turn to KSL News Radio for one simple reason: trust. Trust for our reporters, hosts, our coverage, and trust in the businesses heard right here. I've met so many of our listeners over the years, and they'll tell you KSL is part of their daily routine, in the car, at work, at home. And when they hear your business here, it carries the weight of that trust. It isn't just another ad. It's a recommendation coming from a reliable source. When you advertise on KSL News Radio, you reach a loyal, highly engaged audience who listens intentionally. They show up for breaking news, accurate information, and meaningful conversations. And because of that connection, they respond. And when you pair our on-air credibility with digital tools like display advertising, social media, streaming audio, search, geo-targeting, and retargeting, you get a full funnel strategy that works and reaches the right people at the right time. Get marketing that truly moves the needle. Partner with the voice Utah trusts. KSL. Learn more at kslnewsradio.com/advertise.
Check engine or ABS light on? Take the guesswork out of your warning lights with O'Reilly Veriscan. It's free. Ask for O'Reilly Veriscan.
O'Reilly Auto Parts. Let's go.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at vaxassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Go from daydreamer to industry leader with Amazon Business. From office supplies to IT essentials, Amazon Business provides tools that help you save costs and make insight-based decisions. Learn how to bring your visions to life at AmazonBusiness.com.
KSL News Time, 1245. The three things you need to know this hour first.
The Salt Lake County Republican Party has punished 8 members after they accused party leaders of election interference and clashed with them during a heated internal dispute. I'm KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
Second, Utah State University now has their full funding back after months of being denied. Third, traffic and weather together, Michelle.
The biggest trouble spot I'm seeing is Highway 89 east of Logan. They do have traction control restrictions in place, and you're seeing some delays. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
It's a dry one in northern Utah today, but a storm moving into southern Utah. I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now, 32 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. The arrest of former Prince Andrew today, rocking the royal family and Britain. And word moments ago from the BBC that Prince Andrew was released a short time ago. ABC's James Longman is in London and has more when police made their move.
The former Prince Andrew taken into custody on suspicion of misconduct in public office. Law enforcement launching a coordinated operation on King Charles's private estate in Sandringham, where Andrew had been sent into effective exile. The extraordinary situation now unfolding. Properties belonging to the King are now being searched by police. This follows new revelations in the ongoing probe into the convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein.
King Charles, in a statement, says the law must take its course. House Democratic leaders announcing Virginia's new governor, Abigail Spanberger, will deliver the Democratic response following President Trump's State of the Union address next Tuesday. The average 30-year fixed-rate mortgage dipping to a new low this week, according to Freddie Mac, now at 6.01%, the lowest since September 2022. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. A man is dead after snowmobiling with his son and getting caught in an avalanche. Utah Avalanche Center forecaster Nikki Champion joins me live. Thanks so much for being with me.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So we constantly talk about skiers and how they need to be safe. When it comes to snowmobiling, what do people need to be thinking about to stay safe?
Yeah, especially in conditions like we have right now. We've got an avalanche warning across the state. We have new snowfall and strong winds. They've created very dangerous conditions. Anyone traveling in the backcountry, whether that's a skier, a snowmobiler, a hiker, a snowshoer, just a dog walker, if you're traveling in avalanche terrain, you need to be aware of the conditions. Some of the differences that exist, motorized users, they can cover a lot more terrain more quickly. So any slope that's steeper than 30 degrees is considered avalanche terrain. That can be big or small. As soon as you add a motor in, you're able to cross a lot of terrain, a lot of slopes, a lot faster than you can on foot.
Is there a danger of people thinking that they can outrun an avalanche because they're on a snowmobile?
Yeah, I'm sure that exists. I said that you can travel terrain a lot faster. More what I mean by that is that you're covering so many terrain features. You're exposed to a lot more micro features, complex terrain, avalanche terrain altogether. But yeah, I'm sure there's a misconception that you can outrun one of these avalanches. The issue is that they're really large, destructive creatures. And if your sled gets knocked over or you're in a place that you don't have very good control, that's not really a mitigation tactic.
Yeah, and since you are moving faster, you need to pay more attention and kind of describe what people should be paying more attention to.
Yeah, so because you're moving faster and you have this large piece of equipment that's like loud, you might not notice some of the telltale signs that you might notice on foot, like cracking or collapsing. You can often feel that when you're traveling. So right now, we're advising folks to stay off all avalanche terrain, so out riding as well. Just like look for any red flags. Right now, that would be recent avalanche activity. So if you're seeing slopes that have any recent avalanche activity, that's a huge heads up. Anywhere that's received a ton of wind, a ton of snow, which most zones across the range have, that's a huge heads up. So the best option right now, if you're out traveling on a sled or a snow bike, is to stick to the lower angle terrain. The riding is awesome. You can stay out of avalanche terrain. You can stay on slopes that are less steep than 30 degrees and play around and still have a great time.
Should snowmobilers also have some of the things that skiers have, cross-country skiers have when it comes to probes and things?
Oh, yeah. So anyone traveling in the backcountry, again, that goes for motorized users or skiers. If you're heading into the backcountry, you need to have all the appropriate avalanche gear. So that's a beacon or an avalanche transceiver, a shovel, a probe, and then the knowledge on how to use it. So taking a course or making sure that you know how to use the gear, that your beacon has a battery in it, and then that you have a partner. When you're traveling on a sled, you want to make sure that you know where your partner is. So having appropriate communication as well. So having a radio, staying in eyesight when you can, but you want to know where your partners are, know how to use the gear that you're carrying, and always carry avalanche gear when you're heading into the backcountry.
Nikki, thanks so much for being with me. Live on the KSL Newsline is Utah Avalanche Center forecaster Nikki Champion. Let's get you up to date on the drive, traffic and weather together. It is brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. And here's Michelle Rowe.
Reports of a fresh crash in the Salt Lake area, Sugar House area. This is 21st South and about 12th East. I can't get eyes on it, but just something to watch for because the roads are wet in that area. For drivers on I-15, again, we're still running at posted speeds from up north in the Willard area all the way down to Santaquin. And if you're making your way up the canyons, that's also looking good right now. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast, predominantly quiet today with mostly cloudy skies, but definitely feeling like winter, high of 36. 36 again tomorrow, but a chance for snow showers. We go to 42, mostly sunny skies on Saturday. Sunday you got partly cloudy, 48. Here comes the warmth, 53 on Monday, partly cloudy, 54 on Tuesday. Mostly cloudy skies, giving way to showers next Wednesday with a high of 54. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
And it's partly cloudy in downtown Salt Lake City, 32 degrees. 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Taking a quick check of the markets. The Dow is down by nearly 400 points. Complete update of your money news is coming up next.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates. This weekend only, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep, deep discounts. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
Business technology has changed a lot over the last 70 years. But one thing hasn't.
Les Olson is here.
As the years have passed, there's been one constant. And after 70 years and still counting, Les Olson IT is here with the technology and the people to make life easier, more productive, and more secure for your business. Let Les be here for you.
Women go through many changes in their lives. And we believe each milestone matters. That every new candle represents another step in your story. Our healthcare experts support women at every stage of life. Because each chapter deserves to be celebrated. Women's health. Nurture what's next. Find care near you at mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health. Human kindness lives here.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
KSL News Time, 12:54. Whitney Lovett, Dancing with the Stars competitor and star of The Secret Life of Mormon Wives, will be extending her stay in New York. She will continue to play Roxy Hart in Chicago through April 5th. She's gotten some major attention for her acting, singing, and dancing, and, of course, her reality TV personality. Watching Utah's Money. Less people are making their way to Sin City. Reuters reports Las Vegas is seeing the most dramatic drop in visitors since 1970, with 3.1 fewer visitors in 2025 compared to the year prior. It's affecting hotel pricing, flights, and paychecks. Debt continues to pile up. The total held by the American public is expected to reach $56 trillion by 2036. The Congressional Budget Office says it's expected to surpass the size of the entire U.S. economy by the end of this year. McDonald's is moving its protein first. The company says it's going to is moving to protein first, I should say. Company says it's going to cater to more customers on GLP-1 drugs. USA Today reporting it will also try new menu items. The number of Americans using weight loss drugs more than doubled between 2024 and 2025. Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is down by nearly 0.75%, down 346 points. It sits at 49,316. S&P down by 33 points. And the NASDAQ down by 120 points. Lacrosse can be a real workout, and not just for the players on the field. ABC's Mike Dubusky has the story.
It's been a long-standing tradition for the men's lacrosse team at Notre Dame. Every time the team scores, the mascot, that fighting Irish green leprechaun, does push-ups equal to the current score. Well, earlier this week when the school played Bellarmine, Notre Dame finished with a score of 29, which, when you do the math, 1 push-up for the first point, then 2 push-ups for point 2, and so on, equals out to 435 push-ups over the course of the game. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
Hello, this is Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell. Cordell & Cordell is the largest family law firm in the country, with over 35 years of helping clients navigate divorce. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Take the first step. Visit CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
Amanda, I've been taught to begin with the end in mind. And when it comes to something like weight loss, that's really, really important because some weight loss plans have no end. It's like another refill or another bill or another year. But soda weight loss has a finish line.
You learn it once, you use it forever. And I'm all about health. I mean, I don't want to have my body become addicted to another drug that I have to take forever in order to be healthy. I want the opposite of that. I want fewer medications. I want my body to learn how to do this on its own and be strong.
For so many weight loss drugs, you have to just take them forever in order to maintain that feeling when you cross the finish line. Yeah. When I hit 70 pounds that I let go of in 5 months, what an amazing feeling. And it was amazing to know I could just go forward from this point.
You can talk to a nutritionist and ask all your questions at 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because at SOTA, join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Still looking at good conditions for drivers on I-15 from Ogden to Provo. A little bit of slowing on Bangerter Highway, typical for this time of day, right around the 201. And if you're headed through Murray on State Street, northbound, a little bit of slowing there as well. Attention Wasatch Front businesses and property managers, don't wait for bad weather to schedule professional snow service with GoPave Utah. Your complete parking lot safety starts with GoPaveUtah.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
And taking a look at the forecast for the Wasatch Front, still a 30% chance of showers today, but the chance of showers increasing to a 60% chance tomorrow. Staying in the 30s for today and tomorrow. Then on Saturday, the temperature climbing back up into the 40s. We will reach the 50s by Monday, I should say. 32 degrees downtown and a bit of a switchover now. Heather's going to take over for me, and I'm going to be joining you again at 3 for Jeff Kaplan's Afternoon News.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
The winter storm we experienced bringing deadly avalanches with it. In Wasatch County, 2 snowmobilers, a father and son, caught in the snow. The father buried in the avalanche, his son trying to dig him out. Tragedy soon following.
A release from the Wasatch County Sheriff's Office says the man and his son were riding in the Big Flat area when the slide triggered, catching and burying the man.
The time is 1 o'clock on Thursday, February 19th. It's midday. I'm Heather Peterson, in for Maria Shilaos. Coming up, storm watch fallout. We have details on the deadly situation along the Wasatch Back and what you should do before you head out into the backcountry over the next few days. Also this hour, speaking of snow.
And we pulled ourselves out of record low. So, hooray for us, but definitely a lot more work to go.
An update on the state's snowpack levels after the storm coming up in a few minutes. But first, our top stories. We've been following that deadly avalanche that happened between the Snake Creek and Ant Knolls backcountry areas of Wasatch County yesterday afternoon, where police say a father and son were snowmobiling when the avalanche occurred, burying the father. The son located and uncovered his father, but police say he was declared dead at the scene. We'll have more on that in just a few minutes. Our top national story from ABC News. While opening the first Board of Peace meeting in Washington today, President Trump urged Iran to join their efforts and warned that if no deal is reached between Iran and the U.S., there will be consequences. ABC's Luis Martinez says dozens of fighter jets are getting positioned.
We believe it's about several dozen, potentially as many as more than 100 fighter aircraft from the U.S. Air Force that have flowed into the Middle East. This is one of the largest fighter increases that we've seen in recent memory there on the part of the United States.
The president has made no specific announcement, but he hasn't given any specific attack order. But a military buildup of U.S. forces is deploying to the region. Other national stories KSL is following. Former Prince Andrew has been arrested. The brother of King Charles, who was stripped of his royal titles due to his ties to Jeffrey Epstein, was arrested in the UK on charges of misconduct while in public office. ABC News Royals contributor Victoria Murphy says the arrest could have ripple effects on how the public views the British royal family.
What we've seen in the past few days is that we've seen members of the royal family heckled on official engagement to an extent that we absolutely have not seen before. And I think that really shows the strength of feeling here, that this is not just an issue, as they keep saying, for Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, but it is also sparking huge discussion and debate around the monarchy as a whole.
The former prince has denied any wrongdoing. King Charles has issued a statement saying that the legal process should play out, but ABC News has learned that the royal family did not know about the arrest before it happened. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 365 points, the S&P is down 34, and the NASDAQ is down 129 points. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s, brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.4% on savings at uccu.com. Here's Michelle Rowe.
We have reports of a crash on North Temple and 600 North. Can't get eyes on that. But also, if you're on I-15, again, we're running posted speeds from Ogden to Provo. The Good Feet store, supporting you with comfort no matter what the day brings. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
High of 36 today and cloudy. A good chance of snow tonight and into tomorrow when temps will be in the mid-30s again. Then this weekend, we dry up with highs in the 40s. Right now, it's 32 and cloudy from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Getting help with electrical repairs is easier than you think. All you have to do is call Any Hour Services or schedule an appointment at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
When Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment a kid starts believing they could be next. Now, while Xfinity can't guarantee that, they can guarantee something just as important, that your internet price won't change for 5 years. No contracts or commitments, so while your kid is ordering gear online, streaming highlight reels, or video chatting, your Xfinity internet price won't budge. And who knows, by the time the next Olympic Winter Games roll around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform. And guess what? You'll still be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi. And there's even more to enjoy with the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get their best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed. Just $50 a month, plus get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 monthly value. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson in for Maria Shilaos. The powerful winter storm we just experienced was also a deadly one. Several avalanches around the west, leading to the deaths of at least 9 people. 8 of those came from a massive avalanche in the Sierra Nevada in California. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But here in Utah, another death. Stormwatch fallout. We have special coverage on Midday. Today, we've learned that 1 man died in an avalanche between Snake Creek and Aunt Knowles backcountry area in Wasatch County. The Utah Avalanche Center first broke the news this morning, expressing their condolences. Within the last hour or so, the Wasatch County issued a statement on the tragic incident, saying it involved a father and a son. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff explains.
A release from the Wasatch County Sheriff's Department says a father and son were riding snowmobiles when the slide hit. The son was able to use an avalanche beacon to locate his father and then dug him out, but his father had already passed away. Slide happened yesterday afternoon, but at the time it was too dangerous for search and rescue crews to try and investigate, so they weren't able to do that until today.
The 2 caught in that avalanche, both riding snowmobiles through the backcountry. Nikki Champion is an avalanche forecaster with the Utah Avalanche Center. She tells Midday things are really dangerous right now for any and everyone. But for snowmobilers, the challenges are a little more unique.
Motorized users, they can cover a lot more terrain more quickly. So any slope that's steeper than 30 degrees is considered avalanche terrain. That can be big or small. As soon as you add a motor in, you're able to cross a lot of terrain, a lot of slopes, a lot faster than you can on foot.
She says the exposure for snowmobilers is much higher, and despite what you may think, you probably won't be able to outrun an avalanche.
But you're covering so many terrain features. You're exposed to a lot more micro features, complex terrain, avalanche terrain altogether. But yeah, I'm sure there's a misconception that you can outrun one of these avalanches. The issue is that they're really large, destructive creatures. And if your sled gets knocked over or you're in a place that you don't have very good control, that's not really a mitigation tactic.
The incident in Wasatch County highlights the dangers of avalanches throughout the state right now. A heavy dose of snow yesterday contributing to treacherous conditions in several areas.
We had that really dry period through most of January, so all of the snow that was in the mountains became really weak and faceted and sugar-like. Over the past few days, we had this massive storm system that brought anywhere from 20 inches of snow in the Ogden area mountains up to 40 inches to almost 50 inches of snow in the upper Cottonwoods. All of that new snow now sits on top of that weak faceted snow. So we have this large slab now sitting on a really weak layer. It's that classic kind of strong over weak structure that produces very large destructive avalanches. You add in the fact that we have a little bit of wind, we could see both wind-drifted snow avalanches or just new snow avalanches on top of that persistent weak layer.
Champion says that the weather will start looking a bit nicer, so that'll have a lot of people itching to get up into that backcountry. But with avalanche conditions being so dangerous right now, she says it's important to be prepared and be aware.
That weak snow is primarily on the northern end of the compass, so aspects facing west through north through east. Though with so much snow, we're expecting to see avalanches on the southern end of the compass as well. So your best bet could be sticking to slopes that are less steep than 30 degrees. So there's great riding in lower angle terrain. Because of the persistent weak layer, you also want to make sure that you're well away from slopes connected to slopes steeper than 30 degrees or below. So heading into lower angle slopes, sticking to the southern aspects, those are great options for the day.
Avalanches are on a lot of people's minds right now due to that massive, deadly avalanche in the Sierra Nevada in California. Champion says it's an unfortunate risk that comes when people hit the backcountry.
Yeah, the information that we currently have is that it was a group of 15 moving in and out from a backcountry hut, I believe, with a guide service, so 4 guides, 11 clients. The cause or the investigation has not happened yet. They had a really large storm. The storm system hit them prior to hitting us. And again, they had a similar setup where they had a drier period in the year. They got a ton of new snow. They got a lot of wind. Avalanche danger rose, and they were in an avalanche warning as well. So could have been a natural triggered avalanche, could have been a human triggered avalanche. They just had high avalanche danger across the range.
Nikki Champion is with the Utah Avalanche Center. All around the state, valleys and mountains saw decent amounts of snow with the most recent storm. In the Salt Lake Valley, an average of 5 inches fell. In the mountains, several feet. Stormwatch fallout, our coverage continues. With all that snow, is our snowpack looking any better? KSL News Radio's Adam Small has been digging into it.
The big takeaway from this storm was, one, the storm was really impressive. It delivered quite a bit of snow to our mountains and obviously even a good amount here in the valleys. That's a good indicator. But it goes to show how brutal this winter has been, given all it really did was pulled us out of record low territory. The snowpack is still not in good shape. So to kind of put it in perspective, we were about 48% below normal for the date we were at just a couple days ago before the storm in terms of, and the big thing that we measure is what we call snow water equivalent, or rather, to put it simply, the amount of water that's actually sitting in the snow in our mountains, because that's going to be the water that runs into our reservoirs, or eventually the Great Salt Lake, everywhere that it goes. So again, a couple days ago, we were about 48% below normal for the day, and the storm helped us, gave us a little bit of a bump, but it really only put a dent in the problem, because now, even after all the snow that just fell, we're still more than 35% below normal for the day that we're at. So today being February 19th, where we're typically out on February 19th, we're still 35% below that. And in terms of hitting the snow water number that would indicate, okay, we've had an average snowpack, we're not even halfway to that. And there's only a little over a month left before the snowpack typically peaks. So we've got a huge deficit to fill in a little over a month.
So what do the experts have to say? Is there any chance of us catching up at this point?
So I talked with KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson, and he gave it a 5 to 8% chance that happens. So again, take a look at this storm. It was massive. It delivered several feet to a lot of mountain areas of snow into the mountains, and obviously got a good amount of snow in the valleys. For us to catch up, Matt and I kind of put our heads together, looked at some numbers. It would take probably at least 4, if not 5, of the storms we just had in the next 43 days to even come close to catching up to not having excess water to having the historical normal amount of water. And take it with a grain of salt, but I mean, probably a better than 90% chance that doesn't happen, because if history shows us anything, when we have one dry spell, we'll likely run into another one. So even if we hopefully do have a great March and can at least make up some of this deficit, because it would be better to get as much as we can, getting to normal at this point it's highly unlikely. And that just really goes to show how dry it's been for the last few months.
Matt Johnson explains that the moisture we got in October will help out this summer, but without more snow, things will look pretty bleak as the summer and fall roll in.
And I think the reservoirs will take a big hit because we won't be able to recharge them as much. Now, the only saving grace, that is crazy how much impact it's had on this season for how wonky it's been, but that record rainfall that we had in the month of October really set the soil moisture for the rest of the year. That's how much rain we had. So it'll be interesting to see how much of this snowpack makes it down to the tributaries, rivers, streams that feed our reservoirs and lakes, because we're definitely above average as far as soil moisture is concerned. All that rain in October and the early fall is going to help a little bit. So there's a lot of small little details that may help stave off a disastrous summer. And so we have to wait and see what actually happens there. But in theory, you cut it off right now, you're going to have a really early vegetation onset that's going to dry out earlier. And, one can only imagine fire season could be bad. Not saying it will be. Still have some time here. Spring and summer could pan out totally in different ways. And so there's a lot to sift out. But, there is a chance that this summer could be not great for fire season.
Matt says we could see a little more snow tonight and tomorrow, but nothing like what we had yesterday. Then next week, a few chances for rain. Stormwatch Fallout, our special coverage continues in just 60 seconds.
Did you know your baby might need their first dental visit sooner than you think? Did you know your baby should visit the dentist after their first tooth appears or by their first birthday? Keep your family healthy. Your smile matters. Babies can get cavities as soon as they have teeth. Bad bacteria can be transferred to a baby's mouth through unwashed spoons or pacifiers. Pacifiers dipped in sugar or sweetened drinks can also cause cavities. Prevention begins by using a small, soft toothbrush and a little fluoride toothpaste. Grain of rice size ages 1 to 2 and a pea size ages 3 to 6. Practice with your baby before their first dental exam. A dental professional can give you the best advice to keep your baby healthy and smiling. If you don't have a dentist, visit yoursmileutah.org for more information on community dental services. This message brought to you by Utah Oral Health Coalition, Utah Dental Association, University of Utah School of Dentistry, the Utah Department of Health and Human Services, and other Utah health partners. Remember, a healthy smile means a healthier life.
Your smile matters.
We have some breaking news. We're hearing about another avalanche today, this time near Brighton and Big Cottonwood Canyon. The Utah Avalanche Center reports the avalanche was triggered by a snowboarder who was carried over a cliff. The comment on the center's website says it's unclear how buried he is. We're reaching out to the Salt Lake County Sheriff's Office for more information and to ask if a search is underway. The storm we just experienced packed a punch across the west, dumping feet of snow in the Sierra Nevada mountains. Caught in that storm, a group of backcountry skiers who were trapped in an avalanche. 8 of those skiers confirmed dead. Another skier still missing but presumed dead. Winter storm fallout. Our special coverage continues on Midday. ABC's Trevor Alt has more from the area where the avalanche occurred, just south of Lake Tahoe.
So this was a group of skiers, 11 of them, who had a number of guides with them. They were on a 3-day guided backcountry skiing trip, essentially, where they skied to a set of huts. They stayed there for several days. And in that time, we saw wild winter weather come through.
Really watching especially the snow that's still coming down across the Intermountain West, where we're seeing a widespread avalanche danger as well. It's not.
This is about 25 miles away from Lake Tahoe. The conditions were very bad, and it was pretty well known. The highways were shut down for about 50 miles. There were avalanche warnings everywhere, to the point that a lot of the ski resorts actually on Tuesday were fully closed. But this group, as we've been told by officials, went out. They were trying to make their way back down on the final day of their trip, and that is when an avalanche hit. All 15 of them out, according to the sheriff. One of them saw what was happening, shouted avalanche, and then they were essentially buried.
Medical for an avalanche in the area of Castle Peak.
Of the 15, only 6 of them were free from the avalanche and could move about. 2 of them were injured to the point that they couldn't walk. Thankfully, one of them was able to make an SOS call from their phone. From there, they were desperately searching for the 9 people who had been buried, and immediately there was this massive search effort that was underway. But the problem is, all of that dangerous winter weather was still a problem. When you're talking about incredible snowfall and gale force winds, it meant that a search chopper could not go up. The search teams immediately spring into action, but they have to jump on snowcats. It takes them several hours to just get within a couple miles, and even then they are afraid of triggering more avalanches, so they skied the final 2 miles to get to these 6 survivors who had contacted them.
We're still looking for missing people on the mountain, and we're evaluating injuries for the folks that we have, and getting them extricated so that they can get a higher level of care.
Late in the night, they were able to get those 6 people to safety. In those hours, while they were waiting, a lot of them were sheltering under a tent. Those 6 survivors dug up 3 of the other skiers who they had been with. They found them dead. The search and rescue team dig through. They continue to find more people, and at this point, it is presumed that other than those 6 people who survived immediately, everyone else on this trip is dead.
Authorities in California saying the avalanche covered an area the size of a football field.
It probably has a relatively high water content, so it's dense and it's heavy. And as it avalanches, it compacts into kind of big blocks.
When you talk about people who go hiking, that is one level of search and rescue. But with avalanches in particularly, what we learned from looking at the stats is if you are not found quickly, your chances of survival dip very, very fast. If you're found in the first 15 minutes pulled out of the snow, your survival rate is above 90%. If they don't find you in the first 2 or 3 hours, it drops to basically 0.
Wow.
Which is why when we heard from the sheriff at the press conference only 24 hours after the avalanche had initially hit, we had that grim news.
We did have a conversation with the families of the folks that are still outstanding, and let them know that our mission went from a rescue to a recovery.
And you have to tip your cap to the survivors also, who were able to hold down in the cold, exhausted, waiting for help, and not just being in the cold with 2 of them injured. They were aggressively digging in the snow to try to find their friends. Right. It's a nightmare scenario. It's amazing, honestly, that 6 of the 15 survived.
Law enforcement say this group of skiers was made up of mostly mothers from Mill Valley, California, whose children all attended the same school. Early this morning, a car struck a Utah Highway Patrol trooper on I-215. We'll get the latest on that trooper's condition coming up next. But first, it's traffic on KSL News Radio. Brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Michelle?
We have emergency traffic for drivers making their way southbound I-15 in Murray. We have a crash just approaching the south interchange, but there's a bunch of debris in the road, so most of those southbound lanes are closed down as the Highway Patrol is trying to get whatever that is that's scattered across all lanes of travel southbound out of the road. So you're going to be slowed down for just a couple of minutes as you're getting through that. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
My friend Joey means well.
Always remember that the early bird gathers no moss.
But he gets a little confused.
You know, you can't make a silk purse out of a wooden nickel.
Like Joey, many of us can be confused when it comes time to plan for retirement. When to take Social Security, how to use that 401k, what about the stock market, taxes, and Medicare? Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management can help to simplify retirement planning. His goal is to have you walk into retirement with confidence, not worry, and to address the number one concern among retirees today, the fear of running out of money. Call Galileo Wealth today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting to talk about the details of your retirement. 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online, GalileoWealth.com. And remember,
one man's trash is thicker than water. Of course, water's not thick at all, it's watery.
Drivers who switch their home and auto with Progressive could save money and time. Other things try to do this, but they really don't. Like the touchscreen at fast food places. It's not like you save time because it takes you longer to use a touchscreen than, I don't know, someone who works there. And another thing, you'd think it would save money because they're not paying a cashier, right? But no, same price. Also, why is there an option to tip? Who am I tipping? Exactly. Anyway, even if you can't save money and time with some things, you could with a Progressive home and auto bundle. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states or situations.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100.
Kitchen and bath transformations start with AMC Building Materials. AMC Building Materials is a large kitchen cabinet and countertop supplier serving both wholesale and retail customers. AMC offers factory direct pricing on all interior remodeling materials, giving you exceptional value without sacrificing quality. Most standard items are available for quick payment and pickup right away. AMC Building Materials provides professional service, free design, and free on-site measurements, along with expert installation by top AMC professionals. From bold kitchen designs to beautiful functional bathrooms, AMC delivers outstanding value with styles you'll love. And best of all, most projects can be completed within just 10 days. Come experience beauty you can see, quality you can feel, and service you can trust. Get directions to the new AMC Building Materials showroom at 3678 South 700 West today and schedule your free estimate. Visit amckitchenslc.org. That's amckitchenslc.org.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa this weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep discounts. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson, filling in for Maria Shilaos. A Utah Highway Patrol trooper is recovering this afternoon after being involved in a crash early this morning on the east belt of I-215 near Knutson's Corner, 6200 South. It happened while many skiers and snowboarders were inching their way towards the Cottonwoods for a day on the slopes. Joining me now on Midday for more on what happened is Lieutenant Cameron Roden from UHP. Lieutenant Roden, how did this whole thing start? I mean, do we know if it involved the icy roads?
Yes, the trooper had responded to a crash in that area of 215 East for a crash that had previously occurred. There were 3 cars involved. He was out with those motorists checking on those when another vehicle approached and lost control. So we do suspect that the roads were slick at that time, and the trooper was outside of his vehicle when he was hit. So luckily the injuries appear moderate at this time and do not appear life-threatening. But so we just encourage people, really watch out for these crash responders who are out there responding to these crashes during this time of year, because the roadways are slick. Even sometimes when the roads look like they're dry and normal, the possibility of black ice is still there.
What about the condition of everyone else involved? Do we know that?
We did have some minor injuries. The crash that he had responded to, there were some moderate injuries there as well that had an individual transported. So we luckily nothing life-threatening as a result of this whole thing. So we feel very fortunate about that. But again, it just highlights the need for us to use caution during the time of year.
Okay, and is anyone at fault for this? Was there anything that was done wrong, or was this just an accident because of the slippery roads?
Well, it's a good time for us to talk about the need to watch our speed, especially after times when there's been a snowstorm. We've had moisture on the road, and yesterday was a very slick day for us, and a lot of times we let when the road looks dry after a snowstorm, we kind of tend to go back to our normal driving behaviors. But that that day after a snowstorm is when we still get quite a few crashes because of that moisture that's been on the road and these really cold temperatures. The bridges and off ramps and overpasses tend to ice up, causing additional crashes.
And what's your message to drivers who come upon an emergency vehicle? I mean, can you tell us what the law says about that?
We want to make sure that all crash responders get home to their families each night after a day of work. And so as you're approaching a crash or emergency scene like this, the law does state if you have the ability to move over and give them additional space, that you're required to do so. But the minimum, slow down as much as possible. We already know that there's been an issue at this location with some type of hazard or slick roads or something. So really slow down so that we don't compound a problem and make it worse.
Are there any particular trouble spots on the roads that people need to look out for right now, or anything else you want to add?
We know the storm was, as far as statewide, it really impacted us from Box Elder clear down to past Cedar City. So the potential for these slick areas are still out there around the state. But I would say our areas where we're going to see this black ice the most is going to be, like I mentioned, those off ramps, those overpasses, and things like that, where that cold air gets underneath there and makes that moisture freeze.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us, Lieutenant Cameron Roden there, talking about the highway patroller that was hit on I-215 early this morning. It's 1:30, midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Heather Peterson, filling in for Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we're watching this hour: women making strides in Utah politics, but a new study still showing a lot of room for improvement. How important are public lands protections heading into the 2026 midterms? We'll get more on how Utahns feel. And KSL traffic. Michelle?
A crash southbound I-15 approaching the south interchange, causing some slowdown southbound I-15. Heather?
And right now we're looking at cloudy weather with temperatures in the 30s. We could see some snow overnight and into tomorrow, and then a dry weekend coming up. KSL's tops local stories in just a minute, but right now it's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Mike Dubusky. The war of words continues between President Trump and Iran, with the president threatening consequences if the country doesn't come to the negotiating table to talk about its nuclear program. The U.S. has been steadily building up a military presence in the Middle East, with as many as 100 fighter jets now in the region. This morning in the UK, Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, the former Prince Andrew, was taken into custody following revelations about his relationship with sex trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. And now
Andrew has been seen leaving the police station. He was captured on camera by reporters there. Police saying that he's being released and remains under investigation. At the moment, it does not yet appear that charges have been brought against him. We had heard from prosecutors saying they had not yet advised the police on whether a case could be brought against him.
ABC's Patrick Reevell reporting from London. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story: the snowstorm definitely had a noticeable impact on our snowpack, but still not even close to enough to pull us out of this year's massive deficit. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
The storm packed a punch, but it really only did enough to pull our snowpack out of record low territory, which really speaks to how brutal this winter has been by normal Utah standards. KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson tells me he thinks there's a greater than 90% chance that we don't reach normal snowpack totals for the year, given we're not even halfway to normal levels with just over a month until the snowpack usually peaks.
Matt says if we want our snowpack to catch up, we would need 4 or 5 more of the storms we just had before the beginning of April. Other local stories KSL's following: 2 people were killed in a 32-car pileup on I-80 near Evanston yesterday. Wyoming Highway Patrol says 25 others were injured in the crash. 3 had to be life-flighted to Utah medical centers for treatment. While the investigation is ongoing, officials believe drivers were traveling too fast in the snowy conditions. Utah State University finally has their full funding back from the state after agreeing to recommendations from a recent audit. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
The state had previously been holding back 70% of the school's budget while they waited to see full results from a recent audit and heard the university's reinvestment plan. USC was the last of the state's universities to get their funding, presenting their reinvestment plan 4 different times. The updated reinvestment plan scaled back a proposed nursing program while putting more money into AI programs, a statewide water initiative, and the creation of a vet technician program.
In response to an audit into the university's spending, the Board of Trustees will now be reviewing and approving the president's budget, which President Brad Mortensen says will allow him to focus on student success. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 318 points, S&P is down 32, and the NASDAQ is down 124. Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
The crash southbound I-15 just prior to the south interchange it has mostly cleared over to the right shoulder now that it looks like they have the debris out of the road. Just a little bit of slowing in spots almost to 45th South. Whipple Service Champions is Utah's most trusted name for heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical services, and they're your first choice for offering honest second opinions. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cloudy with highs in the mid-30s today. More of the same tomorrow. There's a chance of snow tonight and tomorrow, but we're looking at a dry weekend with temps in the mid-40s. Right now, it is cloudy and 32 degrees from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Amanda, I've been taught to begin with the end in mind. And when it comes to something like weight loss, that's really, really important because some weight loss plans have no end. It's like another refill or another bill or another year. But soda weight loss has a finish line.
You learn it once, you use it forever. And I'm all about health. I mean, I don't want to have my body become addicted to another drug that I have to take forever in order to be healthy. I want the opposite of that. I want fewer medications. I want my body to learn how to do this on its own and be strong.
For so many weight loss drugs, you have to just take them forever in order to maintain that feeling when you cross the finish line. Yeah. When I hit 70 pounds that I let go of in 5 months, what an amazing feeling. And it was amazing to know I could just go forward from this point.
You can talk to a nutritionist and ask all your questions at 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because at SOTA, join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
Every day here in Utah, people turn to KSL News Radio for one simple reason: trust. Trust for our reporters, hosts, our coverage, and trust in the businesses heard right here. I've met so many of our listeners over the years, and they'll tell you KSL is part of their daily routine, in the car, at work, at home. And when they hear your business here, it carries the weight of that trust. It isn't just another ad. It's a recommendation coming from a reliable source. When you advertise on KSL News Radio, you reach a loyal, highly engaged audience who listens intentionally. They show up for breaking news, accurate information, and meaningful conversations. And because of that connection, they respond. And when you pair our on-air credibility with digital tools like display advertising, social media, streaming audio, search, geo-targeting, and retargeting, you get a full funnel strategy that works and reaches the right people at the right time. Get marketing that truly moves the needle. Partner with the voice Utah trusts. KSL. Learn more at kslnewsradio.com/advertise.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson, filling in for Maria Shilaos. Women hold about a third of public offices in Utah. That's according to new data released by the Women in Leadership Project at Utah State University, which looked at the highest executive positions down to each individual city council seat. Earlier, I spoke with Dr. Susan Madsen, director of the Utah Women in Leadership Project, about their report and how she sees the state of women in politics here in Utah. So go ahead and give us the 30,000-foot view. What's the state of women in Utah politics right now?
Well, this year we just launched a report this week in terms of what is the status of women in Utah politics. And in this report, and we're doing it every year now, so to see where we're at. But in this report, we really provide data from 7 key areas. 1, Congress. 2, our statewide executive offices, and we have 5 of those in the state of Utah, our state legislature, so this report is timely, and then also what's happening in terms of representation by gender in counties, in mayor posts, on city councils, and then boards of education. So we have those 7 key areas that we report on. And like I said, we're doing that every year. And so what's interesting is we have, in terms of Congress, we have 6 seats in Congress. And we, of course, have 1 female, which is Celeste Malloy. And that's better than we've had in the past. We've had a few through the years, but not very many. And so we're still substantially below. We're 16.7% compared to the nation, which is about 29% in terms of congressional seats. So that's one of them. And then I'll give you one other one. We have 5 statewide executive offices. And those are the governor, the lieutenant governor, the attorney general, state treasurer, and state auditor. And now we're actually higher than we've ever been because 2 of those 5 seats, Deidre Henderson and Tina Cannon, she's the first female auditor in Utah's history, are in there. So we're actually above the nation, 40% in Utah versus 31%.
So if we look behind the data, why are we seeing such a struggle for women to get into politics?
Well, it's been a struggle throughout time. Utah has a rich history from the beginning of the state, and women have been involved. But we have really gone up and down in terms of involvement. In fact, in the state legislature, we have been, in 2013, we were 46. In 2015, we were 44. So we've made some slow gains since then. And this year, we're 32nd, so we're still not middle of the pack, but we're getting there. But I'll tell you, in some of those higher positions, both men and women, struggle and feel under attack a lot because people are never happy with you when you're serving in such visible roles. But I worry about our women because more and more are telling me the online threats, and I've read national research that supports this, the online threats and some other kinds of threats for women it's higher for women than men. And with some things that are going on around the nation, you've got to think, is this something I want to do? And a lot of women I've talked to through the years really step forward because they, in quote marks, I'm going to say, feel called to do that, whether it's from a higher source or just they feel like their voice matters and they need to step forward and do that. So I don't think women step forward very often. There are some for sole purpose of having more power, but we typically want to do things that matter for our children, for our neighborhoods, for our neighbors, and beyond.
That was Dr. Susan Madsen, director of the Utah Women in Leadership Project, talking about the trends in women's political representation. In just 60 seconds, we'll hear from a woman who's ran for office in Utah a few times to get her perspective on the study. Stay with us.
This is the story of the one. As an HVAC technician, he and his digital multimeter are in high demand. So when a noisy office HVAC turns out to be a failing blower motor, he doesn't break a sweat. With Grainger's easy-to-use website and product information, he selects the product he needs to keep everything humming right along. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm, and Chuck McDowell definitely not an attorney. This is Chuck. If someone talked you into buying something really silly and you want to get out of that silly little thing, my advice, get the facts. Call me and I'll send you our timeshare exit kit absolutely free. Inside, you'll learn how timeshare works and all your options for cancellation.
Call Wesley now for your free exit info kit. 800-290-7100. That's 800-290-7100.
A new study from the Utah Women in Leadership Project at Utah State University finding that women have made some ins on the political stage, but still have a ways to go. Midday executive producer Andy Cupp spoke with Erin Ryder, a former candidate for Congress and for Salt Lake County mayor, to get her takes on the study and her personal experience as a woman running for office.
Erin, first off, give me your reaction to kind of the overall findings of this study that women in politics still, they're making improvements, but they still have such a ways to go.
Yeah, I think this is a narrative that we've been hearing for a long time in Utah politics. We have made a lot of strides. We do have a lot more women in the state legislature, which is enormously beneficial for the types of policies that are run through the legislature. We've seen, really great successes with female mayors across the state and members of city council. But, it's still an uphill battle, right? And there's still fights that need to be fought.
So as someone who has ran for public office and is a woman, did you ever feel that your gender really mattered to the voters? Because one of the findings of this study was along the lines of, the electorate needs to value diversity more. So as someone who has ran for office, do you feel like your gender ever really made a difference or played a role in your races?
It's hard to quantify at the end of the day how much of a difference gender may or may not have made. On the whole, and I was given some advice early on before I ever ran, where someone said, don't make the race about your gender, and it should be about you as a good candidate. And I think that was smart advice, right? Like, I don't think that I should win a race just because I'm a woman, just because we're trying to get more women into office. That's not why you should elect someone. So from that perspective, I never made my campaign about my gender. It was about, hey, I'm the right candidate for this race for this reason, and I'm going to prove that to you over the course of this election. Now, that being said, there certainly were comments that were made to me, and I know there were comments made to other women who were running at the same time. I had a lot of questions from both parties, actually, along the lines of, who, are you married? Do you have any kids? And I would say no to that. And people would kind of do this weird backpedal. Oh, well, that's actually probably better because then you don't have to worry about taking care of kids while you're in office. Like, that's probably a good thing. And I was kind of like, really? Is that where we're going with this? Like, okay, whatever. That's fine. And that came, like I said, from both sides of the aisle, Democrats, as much as, if not more than Republicans. And then, there were just little things like that every so often that would come up. I know other women had similar comments made. Well, if you win and you go back to Washington, who's going to watch your kids for you, without the same kinds of questions being posed to their male competitors. But, again, like, on the whole, most of the time, I tried to make my campaign about me as a candidate and the qualifications that I brought to the table. And usually I think that resonated. Did it always resonate with everybody? No. But,
Yeah. Well, and it's especially interesting given that the most recent race that you ran in was against another woman when you got to the general election. So at that point, gender really didn't play a role because it was going to be either you or your competitor at the time, Mayor Jenny Wilson. It was going to be a woman either which way who ran or won the election. So it's kind of an interesting thing. I feel like that's what was kind of a unique outlier of races that we see here in Utah with two women against each other in the general.
Yeah, and that did actually come up a few times. There were a number of people who said, hey, this is really interesting. It's two women running against each other. And either it was, wow, that's really cool, or it was, oh, that's really interesting. So that did come up a few times. And actually in that race, in the primary, I was a convention-only candidate. I did not gather signatures. And at convention, I won almost 80% of the vote at convention as a woman over a man who was running as my competitor in the primary. So,
As someone who has pushed for more women to run for office, you've been involved with the group Utah Women Run. Why do you think it is important for a woman to be in office? I mean, obviously you have the position of it doesn't matter your gender so much as it matters your politics, your positions, the important things like that. But you are still pushing for more women to be in politics. So I'm just kind of curious why.
Absolutely, because you need a broad range of voices at the table to create good policy, right? Bad policy happens when things are done in a silo. And so the more voices you have at the table across a broad range, a broad spectrum of realities and life experiences, the better your policy is going to be. And it's important for women to be at that table to bring their experience in terms, women who served on the PTA have incredible experience that can be so useful for something like the state legislature or the state school board or a district school board or literally any office that you can think of because of how much work it takes to do something like that and the experience they gain in that process. And so it's the work that we've done with Utah Women Run is about empowering women to say, hey, you do actually belong at the table here. You have relevant life experience and skill sets that are useful in this context. Don't be afraid to step up and to jump in and to share your voice.
Former congressional and county mayor candidate Erin Ryder there, sharing her views on women in politics with Midday's Andy Cupp. We do have some breaking news here on KSL. Former Prince Andrew has been released from prison. Andrew was arrested on suspicion of misconduct this morning over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. Police say he was released under investigation and charges can be brought at a later date. Utahns heading into the upcoming midterms with public land preservation on the mind. What new polling shows coming up next? But first, it's traffic on KSL, brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% back on savings at uccu.com.
We're back to normal southbound I-15 going through the Murray area. The debris and the crash, they have that nicely cleared. All of I-15 really running at posted speeds. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hi, I'm Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. When the IRS invades your life, it's never good news. Keep in mind, it's not just you.
I owed roughly $34,000.
$61,000. When the IRS first contacted me, I was horrified.
When they start hounding you and harassing you and assaulting you.
Don't face the IRS alone. With everything in your life at stake, don't trust just anyone.
From what I got told was being done in a matter of 2 years, he had done in a matter of like 48 hours.
It's a great thing to have the IRS off your back.
We have reduced our tax liability by over $42,000.
Once I signed on with Jordan, I never talked to the IRS again.
It changed our lives.
You need someone to fight for you. Visit endtaxworry.com and get relief today. Let's solve your tax problems now. Visit endtaxworry.com. That's endtaxworry.com.
Join KSL News Radio and the movie show crew this Friday from 10 to 1 at My Hearing Centers, 8941 South 7th East, Suite 203 in Sandy.
Sign up for KSL Text Alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
Gold demand is skyrocketing to record highs. As more Americans rush to preserve their savings, will there be enough gold? I'm Dr. Ron Paul, and I believe physical gold is the only way to truly protect your 401k or IRA savings. Gold offers tangible security that can't be tracked, stolen, or inflated. That's why I strongly advocate for gold IRAs. To learn more, text the word SECURE to 989898 now. Birch Gold Group will send you a free info kit on gold IRAs. Birch Gold is the only gold company I trust, and their thousands of great reviews prove I'm not alone. So don't wait another second. Protect your retirement savings today and see how easy it is to move your IRA or 401k into physical precious metals. Text SECURE to the number 989898 for your free gold IRA info kit. Again, SECURE to 989898.
Message and data rates may apply.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
Some of the most meaningful jewelry you own isn't new, it's inherited. A ring from a grandmother, a necklace tucked away in a drawer, pieces full of memories, but no longer your style. Duke's Jeweler specializes in reimagining family heirlooms into custom pieces you'll actually wear and love. Duke's on-site jewelers and designers work with you one-on-one to honor the original story while creating something fresh, modern, and uniquely yours. From resetting diamonds into new engagement rings to transforming multiple heirloom pieces into one stunning design, every project is crafted with care, precision, and intention. Don't let meaningful jewelry sit unused. Let it live on beautifully. Visit Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville or online at dukesjewelers.com. Duke's Jewelers, where old stories become new treasures. dukesjewelers.com.
Hear that? That's Mike. He took ZQL Pure Z's, so now he's sleeping soundly on a Sunday night. ZQL Pure Z's are fast-acting melatonin gummies with a complementary botanical blend to help Mike get the sleep he needs to wake up refreshed and ready to conquer Monday.
Let's do this Monday.
ZQL Pure Z's, just for sleep. Really great sleep.
These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Use as directed.
This is Midday. I'm Heather Peterson. Heading into the 2026 midterm elections, Utah voters are growing more and more concerned about public lands protections. That's according to new polling data released from Colorado College in their 16th annual State of the Rockies Project Conservation in the West poll, which looks at how voters in 7 Mountain West states feel about public lands and conservation. Lori Weigel is a pollster who worked on that project.
So this year, we looked at a number of different issues, and we had a long battery that asked people to tell us whether they thought in their state certain things were either an extremely serious problem, very serious, somewhat serious, or really not a problem in their state. One of those that we looked at this year that we've looked at a couple times in the past was the rollback of laws that protect our land, water, and wildlife. And you can see, again, this is such a benefit of having this trend data here, is that we've really seen a significant change. In fact, just compared to 2019, there's a 10-point increase in those characterizing the rollback of laws that protect land, water, and wildlife as an extremely or very serious problem. So big differences here from what we saw 8 or 7 years ago. So we're really seeing that big bump up in terms of overall concern. And in fact, what we're seeing is that a majority in every single state except Wyoming's just a tick below, are telling us it's an extremely or very serious problem. So that's really significant. Where did that bump up come from? Notably, Idaho, it's up 19 points compared to 2019. Arizona up 15 points, Colorado, Montana up 12 points, but it went up in every single state. So there wasn't a single state where that decreased. So we're really seeing that concern level higher than what we've seen in the past.
Some interesting findings specific to Utah include 84% of Utah voters saying that the rollback of laws that protect our land, water, and wildlife is a serious problem. 89% of Utahns seeing inadequate water supplies as a serious problem. 67% of Utah voters opposing the sale of national public lands for oil and gas development, and 86% of Utah voters saying existing national monument designations should be kept in place. Utahns are also concerned about the Great Salt Lake and air quality. 92% of Utah respondents view the condition of the Great Salt Lake as a serious problem. 92% of voters also see air pollution and smog as a serious problem. The full survey and individual state surveys are available on the State of the Rockies Project website. A new report points out which concepts schools can implement to make sure students are ready for life after high school. The data from XQ Institute shows Utah is among the states leading the way, having implemented 6 out of the 10 policies they recommend to best prepare students. Ryan Bartlett, Director of Communications from the Utah Board of Education, spoke about it with KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff.
The XQ Institute, which is a nonprofit, nonpartisan research group, issued a report highlighting how states are helping students prepare for the real world in high school. And so their focus is high school because that's when students are getting ready for whatever comes next, whether that's trade school, college, going right into the career field, maybe into the military. And they're looking at how high schools are helping students best prepare for whatever they might do next. And so the focus is a lot of high schools are doing a traditional model that's kind of outdated in our fast-paced world where, with technology and all kinds of other things being updated, a lot of high schools just aren't preparing students for what might come next. And so what XQ Institute released today was a report showing how different states are helping students prepare. And Utah was one of the states they highlighted as being a state that's really advanced and really doing a great job of helping students prepare for what comes next through unique initiatives and programs that help high school students.
Among those 6 areas that Utah succeeds in are things like offering internships and apprenticeships, presenting professional development opportunities at school, offering college credit for classes, and streamlining the curriculum so that high school students can be directly admitted to universities. Another thing Bartlett mentions is a style of teaching that's based more on making sure that students understand the material.
One of the things Utah focuses on is competency-based learning. So it's kind of moving the focus from teaching to learning. So what are students learning? What are they capable of doing? Are they learning the things that they need to prepare them for what comes next? Traditionally, education has been time-based, where you spend 180 days in a seat in your school, and then at the end you move on. You get your diploma. But competency-based learning kind of flips that and allows for flexible pacing for students. So when a student masters a concept, they can move on to the next thing instead of it just being kind of an old-fashioned just based on time and what's being taught, actually flipping the focus to what's being learned and what a student is able to do and competent at.
The areas they could still use improvement in have to do with creating assessments that better capture true knowledge and skills. The state could also work on redesigning their transcripts and student success data that would show how well students do after they graduate based on each high school. Bartlett points out that even though this report shows the state's public education system is doing well, they can't do it without the cooperation of families and educators. Coming up, voters and candidates in Utah, along with leaders on the national level, waiting on bated breath for a ruling from the state's congressional maps. We could hear a ruling as soon as tomorrow. More on that coming up in the next hour of Midday.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Infighting among members of the Salt Lake County Republican Party resulting in discipline for 8 high-profile members. Those members saying party leadership is going against the law and their removal is retaliation for speaking out.
The executive committee was allowed to be not only our accusers, but they were allowed to be our jury, and they were allowed to be the judge. So there were no unbiased parties.
The time is 2 o'clock on Thursday, February 19th. It's midday. I'm Heather Peterson, filling in for Maria Shilaos. Coming up, Republican removal. We'll get a breakdown of this whole situation and hear from some of the members who say they were unfairly removed from their positions. Also this hour, a new national ABC investigation tracking some of the effects of rapidly growing AI data centers popping up in rural America.
Her own electric bill has gone up, and her electric company said in a statement that one reason why is because of increased electricity use from data centers and artificial intelligence.
More on the positives and negatives of these centers coming up shortly. But first, our top stories. An avalanche in Wasatch County yesterday took the life of a man who was snowmobiling in the Snake Creek area.
A release from the Wasatch County Sheriff's Office says the man and his son were riding in the Big Flat area when the slide triggered, catching and burying the man. Using a beacon, his son was able to find and dig his father out, but the man passed away. The release says the slide happened yesterday, but because of avalanche danger, search and rescue crews were not able to get into the area until today.
KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff reporting. Our top national story from ABC News. Britain's former Prince Andrew has been released from custody after being arrested earlier today on suspicion of misconduct in public office over his ties to Jeffrey Epstein. The former prince is being investigated for allegedly sharing confidential information while he served as a trade envoy.
Andrew has been seen leaving the police station. He was captured on camera by reporters there. Police saying that he's being released and remains under investigation. At the moment, it does not yet appear that charges have been brought against him. We had heard from prosecutors saying they had not yet advised the police on whether a case could be brought against him.
ABC's Patrick Reevell reporting from London. Other national stories KSL is following. While opening the first Board of Peace meeting in Washington today, President Trump warned that if no deal is reached between Iran and the U.S., there will be consequences. He gave few details, but he did tell ABC's Karen Travers that he's giving Iran 10 days to reach a deal.
You said today on Iran, bad things will happen if
Yeah,
Iran
bad
doesn't
things,
make
really
a
bad
deal.
things.
What will that
I'm not going to talk to you about that.
Okay, can you explain, though, what is the goal if there is a U.S. military
Well, we're
strike?
either make a deal or we're going to get a deal one way or the other.
But with a military strike, is it to wipe out their nuclear
I'm not
program?
going to talk to you about that, but we're either going to get a deal or it's going to be unfortunate for them.
The president hasn't made a specific announcement or given any attack orders, but a military buildup of U.S. forces is deploying to the region. Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 267 points, the S&P is down 19, and the NASDAQ is down 70 points. Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Here's Michelle Rowe.
We have a crash northbound I-15 in Draper, about 110th south. It's off to the right, not causing any problems. Other than that, I-15 running at posted speeds. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
High of 36 and cloudy today. A good chance of snow tonight and into tomorrow, when temps will be in the mid-30s again. Then this weekend, we dry up to highs in the 40s. Right now, it's partly cloudy and 34 degrees from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
Any Hour Services can help you make sure your furnace keeps you warm this winter. Whether you need a tune-up, a repair, or a second opinion about replacing it, call Any Hour Services or visit anyhourservices.com.
Trying to make sense of the markets? Looking to diversify out of all the craziness? Thinking about tangible assets like precious metals? Listen to The Gold Show with Kenny Michaels right here on KSL at 3 p.m. Sunday afternoons. Stay up to date on retirement trends, how the IRA rollover process works, and why investors are turning to physical gold. Kenny is a national talk show host with decades of experience in the markets. Tune in for Kenny's Insights and The Gold Show this Sunday afternoon at 3.
When Team USA is on, you can almost see the moment a kid starts believing they could be next. No, Xfinity can't guarantee that. They can guarantee something just as important, that your internet price won't change for 5 years. No contracts or commitments, so while your kid is ordering gear online, streaming highlight reels, or video chatting, your Xfinity internet price won't budge. And who knows, by the time the next Olympic Winter Games roll around, your kid could be getting fitted for their very own Team USA uniform, and guess what? You'll still be paying the same price for reliable Wi-Fi. And there's even more to enjoy with the Xfinity Gold Medal Celebration. Now through February 22nd, get their best price on gig Wi-Fi for 5 years guaranteed. Just $50 a month, plus get Peacock Premium included for 2 years. That's a $10.99 monthly value. Xfinity. Imagine that. Proud partner of Team USA. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Taxes and fees extra. Actual speeds vary.
Thinking about retirement? Make sure a My Social Security account is a part of your plan. A My Social Security account gives you secure access to your personal earnings history and benefit status. You can find out if you're eligible to receive benefits, compare retirement benefit estimates at different ages or dates, view spousal benefit estimates, and more. Plan for your future. Open a My Social Security account at ssa.gov/myaccount. Social Security, securing today and tomorrow.
Produced at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson, in for Maria Shilaos. Several former members of the Salt Lake County Republican Party say they are now filing a lawsuit in response to their removal. They say their discipline from party leadership was direct retaliation for complaints they lodged against the party. We'll hear from a few of those folks in just a few minutes, but first, let's get more information on this situation with our own political insider, Dr. Holly Richardson. Holly, thanks for joining us.
Sure, it's my pleasure.
Yeah, so this has something to do with election interference. Can you explain that to us?
Yeah, so it's a little bit complicated because the Republican Party, and this is a county Republican Party, they're actually a private organization. They're also, of course, governed by state law. So what happened is there were Republican candidates for municipal government elections, and those are nonpartisan offices. But there were known Republicans who asked the party to please endorse them, the Salt Lake County Republican Party. And so this all stemmed from a group of people saying, you should not be doing that, and the county party saying, we have the legal right to do that, and here's why. And so it's kind of been a back and forth with that. But the party on Monday ended up holding a disciplinary hearing for these 8 people, and it went until like 2:45 in the morning on Tuesday. But what they ended up deciding to do is one person got a letter of censure, but the other 7 were removed from party offices and actually banned, several of them banned from attending party events until 2030.
Wow. So are county parties allowed to give endorsements for nonpartisan races? I mean, who's in the right here?
Well, that might be a question for a judge, because that's the whole crux of it. So the county party said we're allowed to do this. There's nothing that prevents us from providing providing endorsements in a nonpartisan election. And these 8 people who are also members of the county party are like, actually, you can't do that. But I've looked at the code, and I don't see it clearly outlined in the code that says an individual party can't endorse in a nonpartisan election. I think then you go back to, well, who is this trying to sway? Well, obviously it's trying to sway voters in the area. So they wouldn't have an R behind their name on the ballot, and they didn't, but they did have an endorsement from the party officially.
So this whole thing seems a little strange. We haven't had a lot of party leadership discipline members of the party. Do you see this as unique?
Yeah, I think it's pretty unique, and I don't know if it indicates that party officials are starting to say, look, there are people who continually create chaos, and that's one of the accusations that comes from the party chair, is saying, look, these are people, especially one of them, who just stirs the pot continually. I don't know if this is an indication that they're tired of that, or if it's an indication that it's some kind of litmus or purity test. I'm not sure either side.
Okay. So where does this whole thing go next?
Well, it sounds like it's going to court, but it's really interesting again, because this is a private organization. The party is this party organization, and so I suspect that they actually do have the right to remove people from the party. Things have happened before, and I think with the Utah County Republican Party as well, but again, it's not something that happens often, and it's certainly not something with removing 8 people at one time, or censuring one or removing 7.
I think I heard you mention earlier on your show, Inside Sources, that there were other Republicans in this race, but they just don't show that on the ballot when voting, right?
So one of the things that they did as this whole thing was unfolding last fall was there were initially 5 people who wanted to have the endorsement, but what they ended up deciding to do is that if they were in a race where there was more than one Republican, they would not endorse at all. And that left just one person, and that was Cindy Sharkey in the race, I think, in Sandy for mayor there. But in a nonpartisan race, when you get your ballot, it is not going to say R or D or anything else next to your name. So the only way they'd be able to let people know that they actually got this endorsement was by sending out mail or advertising on social media, but it wouldn't have showed up on the ballot anyway.
Okay. Anything else you want to mention before I let you go?
No, good luck. It's kind of confusing, but it's a really interesting thing to discuss. Yeah, for sure.
All right, Holly Richardson, thank you so much for joining us.
My pleasure.
7 of the removed members of the Salt Lake County Republican Party say they plan to sue over what they call illegal retaliation from party chairman Mike Carey. Former committee member Kay Sanderson told KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott she and the rest of the reprimanded party members believe their actions were supported by the law.
You're basically trying to say we're going to put the weight of the Salt Lake County GOP behind one particular candidate over another in a municipal race. That, to me, is a very definition of election interference. And again, I don't even know these candidates, and I certainly don't want my name on any endorsements. So I wrote a letter to the executive committee telling them, hey, this isn't a good idea. I don't know why we're being asked to do this, but I don't want any part of it. This is not one of our duties. And explaining to them that there could be some liability concerns by doing that. If that other candidate that didn't get the endorsement decided to say, hey, you guys, that was election interference against me and I've been harmed, they could actually sue.
Chairman Kerry's response to the letter told party members if they believe there was illegal conduct, then they should file a report with the authorities, and that's exactly what they did. Tracy Halverson was another one of the members removed, and she says their removal because of legal action was an illegal retaliation.
We believe that the actions of Mike Kerry and certain members of the executive committee amount to retaliation. Chris Knoll, the former county party chair, pushed for the party to endorse a candidate who happened to be a wife of a sitting senator as part of an effort by a few individuals to influence an election after their preferred candidates performed poorly in the municipal primaries. They wanted to use the party's endorsement to prop up those candidates, and we made it clear that we do not believe the executive committee has any authority to do that. We also believe those actions put both the party and the executive committee members at risk by directing them to engage in conduct that could constitute an election offense. Mike Kerry told us that if we truly believed their actions were unlawful, we should report them. And we did exactly that. Their response was to retaliate against us. We intend to pursue every legal avenue available to ensure accountability and to protect the integrity of the party's process.
Halverson also says that the comments attached to the removal may be considered defamation, as she is currently running for a position in the state Senate. We've reached out to Salt Lake County GOP Party Chairman Mike Kerry for comment and hope to share his perspective soon. But we'll continue to follow this story and bring you updates on Jeff Kaplan's afternoon news. More on Midday in just a moment.
Amanda, I've been taught to begin with the end in mind. And when it comes to something like weight loss, that's really, really important because some weight loss plans have no end. It's like another refill or another bill or another year. But Soda weight loss has a finish line.
You learn it once, you use it forever. And I'm all about health. I mean, I don't want to have my body become addicted to another drug that I have to take forever in order to be healthy. I want the opposite of that. I want fewer medications. I want my body to learn how to do this on its own and be strong.
For so many weight loss drugs, you have to just take them forever in order to maintain that feeling when you cross the finish line. Yeah. When I hit 70 pounds that I let go of in 5 months, what an amazing feeling. And it was amazing to know I could just go forward from this point.
You can talk to a nutritionist and ask all your questions at 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sotaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com. Because at Soda, join us for a short time to have results that last a lifetime.
Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Be advised, this is your opportunity to save up to 40 to 80% on a hot tub or swim spa. This weekend only, Friday through Sunday, Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. 18-month interest-free financing. Our factories have demanded we sell 1,000 hot tubs and swim spas this weekend. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Huge factory incentives, factory rebates, this weekend only. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. We can remove your old hot tub. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Deep, deep discounts. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Free delivery of your new hot tub. Just relax and enjoy. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Friday, 2 p.m. to 8 p.m. Saturday, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Sunday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Free admission, free parking, free delivery. Mountain America Expo Center, Sandy. Call 833-SPA-SALE or visit hottubandSwimSpaSale.com.
My perfect day has sand, salt water, and friends. But my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can take me out of the moment. Now I'm all in with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi. Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, most people saw 90% clearer skin, and many were even 100% plaque-free at 4 months. Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis. Visit Skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
We continue to follow this interesting situation with the Salt Lake County Republican Party of several members being disciplined for comments made against moves from the County Republican Party. Joining me now on the line on Midday is Party Chairman Mike Carey. Mike, what can you tell us about this situation?
Yeah, thanks for having me. This goes back to last fall when the party was being asked to consider municipal endorsements or endorsements for candidates in nonpartisan municipal races. This is not the first time it's been done. The Utah County Republican Party has a very spelled out process in their bylaws, whereas we do not, but we've done it before. And we were notified on Labor Day, right before the first batch of endorsement requests, which included candidates from Republicans who were running for municipal offices in Sandy, Riverton, and Harriman. And we were notified by letter from some members of the party that this was, in fact, violating the law, which it was not. So then we had the meeting. We responded accordingly prior to the meeting. They showed up to the meeting. The agenda was changed to only consider those races where only one Republican was on the ballot, and we moved on with business. By Friday, there was a criminal complaint referral submitted by this group to authorities in each one of those cities, as well as the FBI and the DOJ, alleging criminal election interference on two counts of criminal election interference by the party, myself and former party chair Chris Null.
Mike, this is Andy Cupp, the executive producer of Midday. I was curious if you could talk a little bit about the disciplinary process. So just before the break, we heard from a couple of the members who were disciplined, and one of them made the comment of basically you were, judge, jury, and executioner. I wonder if you could talk a little bit about what that disciplinary process looks like in these hearings and kind of how things went down in that regard.
Sure. It's first of all, that's patently false. Okay. We have, as a county party, first of all, membership in the party and service as a volunteer in whatever capacity, whether you're elected or appointed, follows the county party bylaws. And where our bylaws are silent, it's governed by Robert's Rules of Order, newly revised, which is, the typical source document for all parliamentary procedure in many organizations, not just political parties. Like I said earlier, our bylaws are completely silent, so we defer to Robert's Rules. Robert's Rules requires 30-day notice. It requires us to prefer charges. Okay, that's the term Robert's Rules uses, preferred charges. Those charges were moved, debated, and preferred by the executive committee, which by our bylaws has full authority to remove people from party positions and levy penalties according to our bylaws. There is one charge against Tracy Halverson where it was a standards of conduct violation or complaint had been filed, and that process followed our bylaws as well by going to the ethics committee first, who then presented their report to the executive committee, who then preferred charges of a violation of those standards of conduct. They were given 30 days notice. They had ample time. All the information that was reviewed by the executive committee was information that they actually put out on social media or co-signed themselves. And then last Monday, the 9th, we tried to go into executive session for a while where this hearing occurs. That was prevented due to some spectators, causing a kerfuffle. But eventually we got there, and we stayed until we were done. The meeting adjourned at 2:47 a.m. Only two of the 8 people of the accused decided to stay, and that was Kathy Duke and Laurel Fetzer. And you'll see that their penalties are somewhat reduced from what the other penalties that were levied against the parties. But we debated each individual on their own merits and what we knew of the case. But the 6 of the 8 people opted not to show because they called it a, quote, fake hearing.
Okay, and then only 7 of the 8 were removed, right? What about that 8th person?
That 8th person, I'm not allowed to disclose why that was determined, but we determined through the hearing that, let's just say that there was information that came to light in the hearing that warranted a reduction in charge.
All right, Mike Carey, thank you so much for joining us on Midday.
All right, thank you. All right, you too.
All right, let's go now to traffic with Michelle Rowe. Michelle, what do you got for us?
Looking good on I-15, Heather. Still running at posted speeds. The earlier crash in Sandy, northbound at 110th South, has cleared. Just a little bit of slowing starting to build on Bangerter Highway around the 201. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
That traffic has been brought to you by UCCU, up to $500 for loan transfers. Love where you bank.
The company you work for just froze your pension. Now what? Should you take the lump sum or monthly payments? What happens to your spouse if something happens to you? And how does this impact your Social Security benefits? If you're like most people, you have more questions than answers. But here's the bigger problem right now. If you make a wrong decision here, it could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in retirement. That's why you need to know all of your options so you can make the right decision for you and your family. Boss Retirement Solutions, right here in Utah, offers a free, comprehensive pension review for individuals with $300,000 or more in retirement savings. Call 801-896-9622 for your free analysis now. That's 801-896-9622. 801-896-9622.
Advisory services offered through Boss Retirement Advisors, an SEC registered investment advisor. Insurance products and services offered through Boss Retirement Solutions.
It's game day. Are your moderate to severe Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms keeping you from the action? Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, could help you get back to the game. Skyrizi is proven to help people feel significant symptom relief, achieve remission, and visibly improve damage of the intestinal lining. Skyrizi is a prescription injection medicine for adults. Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions, increased infections, or lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, get checked for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor about any flu-like symptoms or vaccines. Liver problems leading to hospitalization may occur when treated for Crohn's or ulcerative colitis. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi, the #1 prescribed biologic in Crohn's and ulcerative colitis combined. Learn more at skyrizi.com or 1-866-SKYRIZI.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson in for Maria Shilaos. Across the country, companies like Google, Meta, and OpenAI are creating artificial intelligence programs, but churning through all that data means they do need data centers. More and more American cities are building data centers to accommodate these programs. ABC's Elizabeth Schulze has been visiting these data centers that have been devouring energy in local communities, and she spoke about it on an episode of the Start Here podcast with Brad Milkey.
We saw how communities are grappling with this rapid build out of these data centers. So here it is.
Here it is.
You can see it right there. We met Laura Evans. She lives in suburban Chicago, and there has been a data center pretty much in her backyard. It's 1,000 feet from her back porch. The first thing we noticed when we visited Laura was the sound. I can hear what sounds like just the highway,
right.
Non-stop cars.
Right.
That's what the data center sounds like.
That's the data center.
This data center emits kind of like a low droning hum 24/7 all the time.
Some days it's louder, some days it's not, but it doesn't go away.
At times, Laura showed us video where the backup generators at this data center kicked in. And it is a really loud, irritating sound.
It sounded like a diesel truck in your front yard or a helicopter on your roof. It was just unbearable.
It sounded like a helicopter on your roof.
It did.
The other factor that Laura Evans started to notice was higher utility bills.
So this is our average monthly bill.
For electricity.
For electricity.
She showed us her average electric bills over the last year, and we saw that they've spiked 23%.
Wait, and her bill has gone up? She hasn't changed her own electricity consumption, though.
Her own electric bill has gone up, and her electric company said in a statement that one reason why is because of increased electricity use from data centers and artificial intelligence. How do you budget when it's changing that much in 1 year?
You can't.
So there is a kind of a fundamental economic argument here, right? You have all of these data centers coming online that need to use all of this power and electricity. And if you're not building new power to keep up, if that demand is going up for power, supply is not rising, that's when you tend to see prices go up. And that is at least what was happening in that neighborhood in suburban Chicago that we visited.
And it's not just their existence that intrudes on communities. The construction of these data centers is a whole other animal.
So we can see where they've broken ground up here.
So we also drove about 2 hours north of Laura Evans' home to a town called Port Washington in Wisconsin. This is where a massive data center project is underway. And we crunched the numbers. This campus for this data center, the entire site, is going to be bigger than 500 football fields. So this is just enormous. When you think about the power, and actually the amount of power that it'll eventually use is the same amount of power to keep the lights on in every home in Philadelphia.
This is, to me, a very big thing, $500 billion Stargate project.
This is a project that's part of the Stargate initiative. You might remember President Trump announced that on his second day in office.
The largest AI infrastructure project by far in history.
And it's with the companies OpenAI and Oracle. In Wisconsin, this project is worth $15 billion, and it's basically going to be this data center campus for all of this build-out for AI.
The number of flowers blooming in these prairies are incredible.
Yeah. About a 10, 15-minute drive from the construction site, we went to Tom Utek's house.
That's a big project to plant all these trees.
Yeah, I was young and stupid.
He is an artist who has lived on this land in Wisconsin for 40 years. He paints landscapes. He draws inspiration from the landscape's natural beauty there. The power company told him in a letter that they are going to build a huge power line to provide the power for this data center.
Right down here, the trail goes right into this patch of trees.
We went up on an ATV ride with Tom where he showed us exactly where this power line would go.
You can see all these trees.
Every one of them.
They'd all have to get cut down for the power line.
Yeah. Could be, like Statue of Liberty power poles.
And this is your property?
Yes.
And they even are threatening, Brad, to use eminent domain to take over his land as part of the construction of this data center.
ABC did talk to OpenAI and Oracle, and they said they're committed to taking on the costs of building their data centers, and people in the area wouldn't be footing the bill. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. Hello, I'm Heather Peterson, sitting in for Maria Shilaos this hour. Some of the stories we're watching: another avalanche here in Utah, sweeping a snowboarder off a cliff at Brighton. The state legislature restoring Utah State University's funding after a striking audit led to a pause earlier this year. And KSL traffic. Michelle?
Looking at traffic starting to fill in a little bit more on Bangerter Highway in West Valley. Heather?
Right now, it's 34 and partly cloudy in Salt Lake City. KSL's top local story in 1 minute, but right now it's 2:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. In Britain, former Prince Andrew was released after his arrest earlier today. Police say on suspicion of misconduct in public office. ABC has learned it stems from his time as a trade envoy and connected to recent Justice Department documents released alleging Andrew was forwarding emails to Jeffrey Epstein. ABC's Patrick Reevell has more.
Andrew has been seen leaving the police station. He was captured on camera by reporters there. Police saying that he's being released and remains under investigation. At the moment, it does not yet appear that charges have been brought against him. We had heard from prosecutors saying they had not yet advised the police on whether a case could be brought against him.
President Trump signaling he's willing to give Iran roughly 2 weeks to hold positive negotiations on a deal to curb its nuclear program. It comes as the president is weighing possible military strikes against Iran. And the tensions leading to stocks ending lower today, along with quarterly reports. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story: this week's snowstorm pulled our snowpack out of record low territory, but we're still not even close to having normal snow totals, with time quickly winding down. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has details.
Before the snow started falling a couple days ago, our snowpack, or more specifically the amount of water in that snow, was about 48% below normal for this time of year. But even after getting this huge storm, we're still about 35% below normal for this day, and we're still not even halfway to where we need to be for the entire winter. That puts us in a position where we need to more than double the water that's in our snowpack in just over a month to reach normal levels. KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson tells me doing that is not impossible, but highly unlikely.
In regards to spring and summer, we definitely need to start thinking about, okay, well, what's the play now that snowpack's probably not going to hit normal? It's a little late for that, and I really only think there's a 5 to 8% chance of that even happening.
Matt says unless we get more storms or at least a cool, rainy spring, we could end up seeing conditions prime for wildfires, not to mention the big hits our reservoirs will likely take. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. Another avalanche today, this time near Brighton and Big Cottonwood Canyon. The Utah Avalanche Center reports the avalanche was triggered by a snowboarder who was carried over a cliff. The comment on the center's website says it's unclear how buried he is. We're still waiting on information, but a search is underway. Utah State University has their full funding back from the state after a recent audit looking into the spending of the past president and the university as a whole. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
Utah's Executive Appropriations Committee agreed to return full funding last night after approving their school's reinvestment plan and reviewing a spending audit. In response to the audit, the university agreed to follow all recommendations, including having the Board of Trustees approve the president's funding.
I don't have to worry if there's scrutinies or anything. I can just be very transparent and follow those policies, and that will allow me to do the things that a president should do in terms of advocating for the university and making sure that we're serving our students.
President Brad Mortensen says they also made several changes to their reinvestment plan, including increasing allocations for AI and reducing investment into nursing. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Your money at this moment, the Dow is down 267 points, the S&P is down 19, and the NASDAQ is down 70. Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Earn 4.44% on savings at uccu.com. Here's Michelle Rowe.
Looking at pretty normal traffic patterns right now, southbound I-15 starting to get just a little busier around the South Interchange, and also Bangerter Highway again in the West Valley area. Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
Cloudy with highs in the mid-30s today, more of the same tomorrow. There's a chance of snow tonight and tomorrow, but we're looking at a dry weekend with temps in the mid-40s. Right now, it is partly cloudy and 34 degrees from the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
Meet Matthew Preston. Inside his apartment, everything he holds dear is protected by Progressive's renter's insurance, like his laptop and a surprisingly valuable collection of baseball bobbleheads. Outside his apartment, his laptop is still protected, as are his bobbleheads, which he carries around with him for reasons no one knows. Renters, the limits of protection aren't just the four walls of your home. When you're in Progressive's Protection Zone, get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and third-party insurers.
Why'd I go to the doctor? Working on the farm, my heart kept skipping a beat. I didn't think much of it, but my daughters made me get checked out. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com. Sponsored by Bristol Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
1-877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids. 1-877 Cards for Kids. Donate your card today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 877 Cars for Kids to speak to a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.org now or call 877 Cars for Kids to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
You're listening to Midday. I'm Heather Peterson in for Maria Shilaos today. Utah State University now has their funding restored after several revisions to their reinvestment plan and an audit. USU is the last in the state to get its funding back after questions were raised about the previous university president's spending practices. President Brad Mortensen says it's been a long journey for Utah State.
All the other institutions received the approval to get back the funding that the legislature had withheld last legislative session for their strategic reinvestment plans last September. Utah State's plan was held up then to wait for the new president to be selected and to be able to review the plan and make any changes. So when I started on November 10th, we did that process. And then in December, the legislature kind of approved our plan and released 30% of the funding. And for us, that total was about $12.8 million. They did not release the rest of the funding, though, pending the outcome of a legislative audit of Utah State that was ongoing. And that audit came out the end of January, and we responded to that and had several conversations, both in the Legislative Audit Committee and the Higher Education Appropriations Subcommittee about the audit and our response. We concurred with the audit and agreed to implement the recommendations there. So last night, we got the good news that the outstanding 70% of our strategic reinvestment funds would be approved, and we were fully compliant with that program. So it's a long explanation, sorry, but it's a great outcome for Utah State to be able to move forward with the things we had identified in that program.
Mortensen says changes are now in place to ensure that he can do his job in full transparency.
There were policies in place at USU that would have safeguarded against some of the spending and controversy, lack of transparency that was going on, but we didn't follow those. And so our board of trustees have really stepped in. They've sent a lot of leadership, and they amended several of those policies so that there is better transparency and scrutiny. We have a formal process now to review the president's office budget and to have expenditures over certain thresholds, receive notification or provide notification to the board of trustees that those are happening. And so that does allow me to kind of operate in a way where, I don't have to worry if there's scrutiny or anything. I can just be very transparent and follow those policies, and that will allow me to do the things that a president should do in terms of advocating for the university and making sure that we're serving our students.
USU has also scaled back plans for a major nursing school expansion and is putting more money instead to AI, state water initiatives, and even creating a new vet tech program.
The 2026 Winter Games on Middays with Maria, live from Milan. Brought to you by America First Credit Union.
Well, the United States is making a little more progress in the Winter Games, moving up in the medal count. The U.S. tied with Italy for the total number of medals, but coming behind in gold medals, 8 for the U.S. versus 9 for Italy. Norway still leading out today with 16 gold medals. It's time for our daily check-in of the games with KSL5 TV's Deanie Wimmer, who's live in Milan. Deanie, let's start with speed skating. You were tracking some of Utah's athletes who were competing there.
Yes, tonight was the individual men's 1,500-meter race. Casey Dawson raced. Emery Lehman raced his final race in the Olympics as an Olympic athlete. But all eyes were really on Jordan Stoltz from America, Team USA. He has been compared a lot to Eric Heiden, the 5-time gold medalist who also lives in Utah. In fact, I talked to Eric Heiden earlier this week, and he said that watching Jordan Stoltz gives him goosebumps because it reminds him so much of him. And so tonight, people were watching, and Jordan Stoltz came in second. He came away with the silver. He told us not what he'd hoped, but still really good, and he's happy with it.
Okay, and there's a Norwegian goat with some Utah connections as well, right?
Now, this one is so interesting because, yes, we've been watching Johannes Klebel, and he's just amazing. And come to find out, his physical therapist is from Midday. She's here at the Olympics with him. I talked to her this afternoon right after she had a session with him. She's been able to help him recover from some injuries, learn how to do tissue work and to avoid injuries, and it's worked out really well for him and for her.
Yeah. So there's just a couple days left until the closing ceremony. What are you most looking forward to?
I've enjoyed each time there's because you get to know some of the athletes, you kind of get a sense of how hard it is and what a struggle it is and the emotions on the line. One of the things I learned is that so far in these games, 26 countries have gotten medals. And I think that's the spirit of the Olympics, isn't it? That 26 countries have the wherewithal to produce Olympic athletes. And that, to me, was just a neat thing that we hear about a lot, the dominant countries, but there are 26 of them that have risen to that highest level.
I've been keeping my eye on the figure skating competitions. Have you been watching those?
Oh, yeah, they've been great.
Yeah, so much fun. Have you heard anything about the ice? I know that people were talking about it being slippery. I know we saw another slip at the end today.
Both the people who use both the athletes, both the speed skaters, short track speed skaters, and the figure skaters have been complaining about the ice for each of their sports. The ice skaters, the figure skaters like it soft because that cushions their landings. The short track speed skaters like it hard to make it faster. And so each of them have had complaints over these various games because they're at the same facility, and it's hard to manage ice within, less than a degree of temperature to make it perfect. So that's the struggle that they face.
All right. Thank you so much for reporting from Milan for us. That was KSL5 TV's Deanie Wimmer. And make sure you tune into KSL5 TV tonight for more women's figure skating, speed skating, and men's freestyle skating. That begins at 7 o'clock, followed by KSL5 News at 10 o'clock, where you can get more winter game coverage from Deanie Wimmer and the rest of the KSL team there on the ground. The 2026 Winter Games on Midday with Maria Shilaos, brought to you by America First Credit Union. America First Credit Union has everything you need to get your money working, so head to americafirst.com and become a member today. More Midday in just 60 seconds.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at fisherinvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
The 2026 Winter Games on KSL News Radio.
When the Winter Games leave town, the venues remain. Utah knows that all too well with the structures left behind from the games in 2002. KSL5 TV's Matt Gephardt is in Cortina right now, where some of their venues have previously had a second lease on life on the silver screen.
Having Olympic venues as filming locations certainly doesn't hurt. Just ask the good people of Cortina.
Will you marry me?
Oh, Ted!
From recent hits like Netflix's Falling for Christmas and Hallmark's Haul Out for Holly, to classics like How the Grinch Stole Christmas and don't forget High School Musical, Utah is the backdrop for many movies. Here in Cortina, when the curling center is not being used for curling, it's been used to fight evil hockey players.
There was a hockey scene played here where the two bad guys tried to punch and fight with Mr. Bond.
Mr. Bond, as in James Bond, 007. Cortina was featured in the movie For Your Eyes Only. Today, there is a Hall of Fame wall with skaters, athletes, and Roger Moore. Other places around Cortina also featured the Olympic ski jump, the ski slopes, and the 1956 Olympic bobsled track. Attracting Hollywood can be an economic boondoggle. Over the past 10 years, productions have brought in more than $700 million to Utah, according to the Utah Film Commission.
It's one of the first hotels to ever be built here in Cortina.
Though appearing on the silver screen is not always a silver bullet. Just ask the once lavish Miramonte Hotel where James Bond stayed and wooed Bond girls. Today, it is closed. I searched and I couldn't find any meaningful examples of Utah's 2002 venues being used in the movies, at least not yet. Maybe there's something to come. After all, James Bond still has plenty of evil left to fight. In Cortina, Matt Gephardt, KSL 5 News.
Well, we can always hope for that, huh? President Donald Trump announcing a pledge of $10 billion to the Board of Peace, the forum tasked with reconstruction in the Gaza Strip. This morning was the first official meeting of the board, which was given a mandate by the United Nations Security Council as part of its approval of the Trump administration's 20-point plan for peace in Gaza.
The Board of Peace is showing how a better future can be built, starting right here in this room. And I want to let you know that the United States is going to make a contribution of $10 billion to the Board of Peace. Thank you. And we've had great support for that number. And that number is a very small number when you look at that compared to the cost of war. That's 2 weeks of fighting. It's a very small number. It sounds like a lot, but it's a very small number. So we're committed to $10 billion. Together we can achieve the dream of bringing lasting harmony to a region tortured by centuries of war, suffering, and carnage. They say 3,000 years. And hopefully we can lift up the eyes of the world to envision how other intractable conflicts can be settled.
The White House has not responded to requests for comment on where those funds will come from. The money raised for Gaza will go to a dedicated fund housed at the World Bank. And in just a few days, President Trump will give his first State of the Union address of his second term. ABC's Dave Packer has more.
President Trump is still scheduled to deliver his State of the Union address on Tuesday, but White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt wouldn't offer any details.
You'll be hearing more about what is to come from the president's speech very soon at the appropriate time. It is going to be a very good and powerful speech, so everyone should tune in.
House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says he's told Democrats to either attend the address with silent defiance or take part in counter events. Some Democrats have announced plans to hold a rally on the National Mall. The Department of Homeland Security shutdown continues as the Trump administration and congressional Democrats remain at odds over immigration enforcement funding. Democrats are waiting for an administration response to proposals intended to rein in federal immigration agents, including banning them from wearing masks and requiring a warrant from a judge before detentions. But the White House blamed Democrats for the delay, saying that the president is ready to talk.
ABC's Dave Packer there. Voters and candidates in Utah, along with leaders on the national level, waiting on bated breath for a ruling on the state's congressional maps. We could hear a ruling as soon as tomorrow. More on that next, but first it's traffic on KSL News Radio, brought to you by UCCU. Direct deposit gets you $300. Love where you bank. Michelle, what do you have?
Looking at a little bit of delay, northbound I-15 approaching Glover's Lane. This is going from Farmington, headed back down towards Centerville. A little bit of slow traffic on Bangerter Highway in West Valley. Common Spirit hospitals, clinics, and caregivers all connected to advanced healthcare in Colorado, Kansas, and Utah. Healthcare with Human Kindness is here. Hello, Human Kindness. I'm Michelle Rowe in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you've ever experienced running out of hot water before your shower was done, or hard water spots on dishes and fixtures, I've got a deal you might be interested in. What's up, everybody? I'm Mike Wilson with Any Hour Services, and you probably already know that a tankless water heater and a water softener solve both issues. If you've ever thought about looking into getting a tankless water heater, here's the deal I was talking about. Through the end of February, we're including a free water softener with every new tankless water heater we install. The best part of this deal might be that you never have to worry about being the last one to the shower again, or that you don't have to waste the money keeping 40 to 50 gallons of water hot 24/7. To take advantage of this deal, call Any Hour Services before the end of February. The visit's free and there's no obligation to buy. If you decide to have us install a new tankless water heater, we'll throw in the water softener for free. That's right, a free water softener when you purchase a tankless water heater. Pick up the phone and call Any Hour Services right now for all the details. 801-443-7400. You can Google Any Hour Services. You can even schedule online at anyhourservices.com. No one helps more homeowners than Any Hour Services.
Join KSL News Radio's Amanda Dixon this Friday from 3 to 5 at the Salt Lake NPS store at 1600 Empire Road, npsstore.com.
Who doesn't love winning? Right now, at ksl.com/win, you'll find exciting contests with prizes you actually want. Tickets, gift cards, and more. It's fast, it's free, and you can enter in just a few clicks. New contests are added all the time, so there's always another chance to win big. Don't miss out. Visit ksl.com/win today and enter to win. That's ksl.com/win.
A family office is a team built to handle the three biggest financial responsibilities a family faces: wealth management, tax strategy, and estate planning. Most firms only manage your investments and refer the rest out, hoping everyone stays aligned. At Trajan, we built something different. Your wealth, tax planning, and estate planning are handled together inside one firm under one roof. There's no guessing whether your CPA, advisor, and estate attorney are truly in sync, because our team works together every day on your behalf. When your financial life becomes more complex, your advice should become more coordinated, not more fragmented. One plan, one trusted team. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Trajan Wealth, an SEC-registered investment advisor. Additional services through Trajan Estate and Trajan Tax. Additional disclosures and accreditation at TrajanWealth.com.
I'm here with Monty from Connecticut Quality Water Systems of Salt Lake, an authorized independent dealer. So, Monty, I wonder if you know someone like this. He's the ultimate DIY guy. Restores classic cars, builds his own deck, and even smokes his own brisket.
Sounds like a talented guy.
He is, but get this, his other weekend hobby is troubleshooting his water softener. He's always down there resetting the timer or fiddling with the circuit board.
See, Doug, that's where I draw the line. Smoking a brisket is a great weekend project.
Yeah.
Fixing an electric water softener is just a chore.
Exactly. He thinks he's saved money by buying the bargain brand, but he's paying for it with his Saturdays.
That's the Connecticut difference. Our systems are premium because they are non-electric and fully automated. No computers to fry, no timers to reset. We install it and you get back to the hobbies you actually enjoy.
If you want soft water, do what I did and leave that to Connecticut. It runs on water power, not willpower. Learn more at softwaterutah.com. That's softwaterutah.com.
People think saving money is hard, but really, it's easy. It's as simple as changing a few spending habits. For free tips on how to save the easy way, check out feedthepig.org. That's feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. Drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media.
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
This is Midday. I'm Heather Peterson in for Maria Shilaos. Voters and candidates in Utah, along with leaders on the national level, now all waiting for several judges to rule in the latest lawsuits involving Utah's congressional district maps. Attorneys for Congressman Burgess Owens, Congresswoman Celeste Malloy, plus a handful of local leaders filed a federal lawsuit arguing a Utah judge violated the Constitution when she approved a map the legislature had no hand in drawing. The plaintiffs in the case want the last congressional map restored for the upcoming election, but the other side arguing the judge was well within her rights because she ruled the legislature didn't produce a map that complied with Proposition 4, the state's embattled anti-gerrymandering law. Deseret News congressional correspondent Cami Mondo says the situation has put candidates in a strange spot because they don't know which district they're running in.
Absolutely. And so, I've talked to the delegation quite a bit over the last
few months as well, because, they've been seeing this unfold. We've seen multiple iterations of this map over the last 6 months, and really all 4 of the House incumbents that we haven't made a final decision of where they're going to run. Every time I do ask them, they say that they're going to wait for a final decision from the state Supreme Court from all these ongoing litigation. And so, as you were saying, it's hard for them to know where to fundraise. It's hard for them to know where to hold events because they aren't sure who their constituents may be or who exactly they need to sell themselves to.
Mondo tells inside sources the courts are running up against a deadline.
It's my understanding we may see something hopefully within the next week of just decisions of when that will happen. I know at least maybe next week it's when they would have to revert back to the 2020 maps if no decision is made. But I think it's all really just a big question of it could happen at any moment. We just don't know when.
She says the map has to be decided within the next couple of weeks in order for election officials to prepare.
Right. Well, I think the big deadline is that first week of March where candidates have to file where they're going to be running. So there have to be districts by then so that all these candidates, these incumbents, can actually file to say, this is where I am running. I think that is the first week of March. The exact dates are lost to me now. But, of course, that there has to be a map there so that candidates can say, this is the district that I'll be running in. That goes for incumbents and these Democratic candidates.
That is Deseret News congressional correspondent Cami Mondo. We could see a decision from one or both of the courts as early as tomorrow. As soon as we have a ruling, we'll be sure to break in with it and update it on the air. Updates also available online at kslnewsradio.com. Lacrosse can be a real workout and not just for the players on the field. ABC's Mike Dubusky has the story.
It's been a long-standing tradition for the men's lacrosse team at Notre Dame. Every time the team scores, the mascot, that fighting Irish green leprechaun, does push-ups equal to the current score. Well, earlier this week when the school played Bellarmine, Notre Dame finished with a score of 29, which, when you do the math, 1 push-up for the first point, then 2 push-ups for point 2, and so on, equals out to 435 push-ups over the course of the game. Mike Dubusky, ABC News.
And we have Maria Shilaos in here for Jeff Kaplan's afternoon news. And
playing musical chairs today.
Yes, we are. But I know that my school had an eagle as a mascot, and I cannot imagine them doing that with wings. So that would be fun.
Well, we have swoop.
Oh.
But I know that we have folks when the guys make a touchdown, they have to run the end of the field. And I'm like, wow. I like when they make more touchdowns, but boy, do those guys get their workout.
They really do.
They really do. Gotta love our mascots, though. Swoop, I've been watching him at basketball games. He is talented. I want to know who Swoop really is.
They are athletes in their own right.
Gymnast.
Oh, my goodness.
And a personality. He's awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is it for Midday. I'm Heather Peters.
Wasatch County turns deadly, taking the life of a man who was snowmobiling with his son. We have several stories today. Fallout from yesterday's winter storm. Let's begin with KSL News Radio.